Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open of 2019. This is the fall split. My name is Brainstorm. I am joined, as always, by the wonderful Smash. Didn't have another adjective for you, but we will get there. I need to
That's alright, you didn't prepare for that one at all, did you?
I
fine.
absolutely didn't. I actually considered doing it when we were sitting in the room before, and then I was like, I've got to get makeup done. I've got to do other stuff. Got to be pretty. But look, you're pretty. That's the same.
Thank you.
Anyway, we are jumping into Groups A and D today. It's our final 4 games of the group stage for Groups A and D, so getting to the pointy end of things. If you have missed any of the previous games, unfortunately, there's a very easy solution. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the PubgMOBILE Esports YouTube channel, where you can catch everything. I subscribe to the channel, and now the majority of my feed is PUBG Mobile, so
what would you rather be?
Infinite amounts of action to catch up on. It's way too... I'm not going to say there's too much, but there's an awful lot. Either way, this is where we currently look for the competition system. We are in the group stage, in the final stages of the... Final stages of the group stage? Sure, that's what we're doing. It's 24 games for the opening stage. We are heading into the last 4 of them for our first 2 teams here, or first 2 groups here, and after these, we will lose 8 teams and go into the semis.
We certainly will. And then from there, we'll play another 24 matches in the semifinals, and that will decide our top 16 teams who will progress onto the regional finals. They'll have 10 matches to prove themselves, as those top 2 spots will be going to the Malaysian Global Invitational. This is how they'll get there. It is the 20-point chicken dinner that everyone is chasing today, the 14-point second place, the 3rd point 10 place, oh, the 10th place, 10 points for 3rd place, I should say. Mix that one up. The kill points, though, that's what the Brazilian killers have been chasing, as they've been using most of their energy on getting those. They have 75 kill points, I believe, or around about there.
Oh, it's something like that. It's huge. Should also mention, while we have a second, if you do want to get some kill points up of your own, you can download PUBG Mobile for free on the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store. These are our 2 groups for the day, Groups A and Group D. The Brazilian killers, as you can see there in the bottom of Group A, are certainly not in the bottom when it comes to the scoreboard. They're currently on top with something like 75 kills. 6-9 are up there as well. They're the teams we're looking at. And the important thing for all of these teams, not so much for Brazilian killers, but for the teams who are in the bottom 8, Groups A and D are going to play their final 4 games first. It's 24 games for the entire group stage. Every single team will play 12 games individually. This is games 9 through 12 for all of the teams we just saw on screen. If they're in the bottom 8 after today, they're out. Because there's no way that the teams who are playing in Groups B and C, who haven't yet played their final games, are going to lose points.
Yep, that's true. I mean, if you're in the bottom 8 today, you're done, so you're gone. You're finished. But talking about the groups, we have Group A, who have a lot of strong teams. We've got Team Queso, we've got 6-9, we have Brazilian Killers. Those are 3 of the big guns in South America. In Group D, there's a lot of little fishes. I'm seeing the strongest group today versus the weakest group today. So we could see some big point games coming out from those 3 aforementioned teams. The Brazilian Killers, Team Queso, and 6-9. They're my teams to watch for the day. Those 3 could be racking up some massive chicken dinners. And look for Brazilian Killers to pass the 100 kill mark today.
Yeah, they've got 4 games to get 25 kills. That's certainly pretty doable. They're at 75 off 8 games, so the record states they're going to get there pretty easily, so that would be pretty ridiculous. I think yesterday we saw the single biggest point gain in a day that we've seen so far. We had a team win 3 out of 4 games and get themselves, I think it was dead on 100 points over the course of 4 games. So
on 100.
I'm not sure we're going to see Brazilian Killers actually beat 100 points in a day, but they certainly should be our first team to surpass 100 kills in total. It is Erangel, our first map of the day, and worth noting that today is the first time that we've had, although we're going to have a day without Miramar. We have Erangel, followed by Sanhok, Vikendi, and another Erangel to finish. So day 1 of no Miramar, but we'll be jumping into the game in just a second here as we wait to see exactly where this plane path is. New plane skin as well. That's an interesting one that we haven't yet seen. Looks like it is going to be a rather northern east to west plane.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rude plane as it is cutting the map in about a quarter. It's going to go straight across that river. Yasnaya, Rozhok, Georgopol, they are all on the menu today for the landing. You can parachute straight down into those and get yourself started real quick. Brazilian Killers have been favoured in that area of Yasnaya, but they might choose to drop a little bit later today. They are probably the favourite going in today to clean up as many chicken dinners, as many points as you can get. Team Queso, they came second, I believe, in last split, and they progressed through the prelims and had a really decent showing in the main stage games. So they're at the moment, they're not sitting as pretty as they'd like, so they could have a very big day here and progress to up in that top 3 area where they'd expect to be.
That said, they are currently sitting 7th, and they're one of 3 teams in the top 8 that don't yet have a chicken dinner. The most impressive one for me is Red Cannons, who are currently sitting in 5th place without a single chicken dinner. 50 kills, 67 placement points for them, but they're not in today's games.
They are not. As we see the plane spread out, and the players are now starting to descend and loot. We are in on this. I believe this is Control Esports. They are running around at the moment in Pubg. So we see a few teams starting to get touched down. As the circle does pop, it is a far eastern circle, only a little bit out of the map, but there's also a lot of water in this circle on that eastern coast, and the river between the military base and the main island is still in play. So there's quite a lot of action to be had around that southern coast. Brazilian Killers have found themselves as the kings of Pachinki, as no one wants to go anywhere near them for the foreseeable future.
I don't blame the other teams.
But that's the thing, it doesn't matter if you land near the Brazilian Killers, because they'll find you. We saw in their last day of gameplay, they were just getting into cars as soon as they were looted up to sufficient levels, and they were just crashing compounds one after another and taking teams out cleanly, 4-0, not losing a single player. So if they can replicate that form today, we'll be in for a very entertaining day of PUBG Mobile.
I'm certainly hoping that's what they'll do. We'll see, though. They might choose to play things a bit more conservatively now, but I mean, look, they're heading into the second stage, right? And points will get reset, as far as I'm aware, heading into the semifinals. So they don't really need any more points as such, I guess. Like, as long as you're out of the bottom 8.
But they need more kills. They need to hit the 100 mark today.
Oh, I guess.
And they need to be practicing, their aim duels, their skirmishes, their grenade usage. So getting in as many fights as you possibly can will generally just improve things. Treat them as, high-octane scrims where you're going in and you're trying to kill the whole lobby, as we see some action in Severny.
And the team that they're worried about, by the way, I was just about to say, is 6-9, as they're the only team that can actually realistically catch Brazilian Killers at this point. Actually, no, I lied. These guys are playing their games first. I was reading the standings backwards. 6-9 are the only ones who can catch them today. XG still have 4 more games to play, who are currently in 2nd overall.
This is the battle for Severny. One of the 6-9 players went down pretty quickly to that UMP, but will be revived straight away. This is going to be a little bit of poking battles. It is outside the zone, so you would expect the fight to kick off and finish here. If one team does choose to disengage, though, I would not be surprised, because this is a very early engagement, and that's something we haven't really seen too much out of the South American League. This band comes in, that's a scar on a roof. No helmet for this player, so he needs to be pretty careful.
Tactical beanie, though. Yeah,
look, I'm not too fond of blocking bullets with a beanie.
You just haven't worn the right beanie.
Kevlar beanie, though, might go quite well. Well, that's a headshot, and that's another knock, actually, from a
UMP.
Yeah, on the roof, the previous player that we were on board with. So the angles here
I was going to say, he's holding a scar. What do you mean?
No.
That's the crossfire there, yeah. Well, 6-9 actually need to figure out a way of being able to get back into this fight here, as they are indeed getting peppered. They will be able to get the revives across safely, but
this is the side peppering them are the Drunks Marines, and they have been underperforming a little bit. They probably wouldn't be where they would like to be.
Well, they're in 31st currently, so yes.
Yeah, they have a nice line of sight onto the players from 6-9. They have pretty good information as to where they be. There is one player from 6-9 hanging around that church area, but looks like they're going to give it up, as they have retreated into the buildings on the side of 6-9 and regrouping up. This last player near the church could be in a bit of strife if he does cross, because there is angles on him.
I mean, they've already lost a teammate to that cross as well. They're actually going to burn some smokes to try and get him out.
Yeah, you can see that they're very wary, the Drunks Marines, of these players crossing over. It's a nice skill to have. You need more protection, though. As we see, one of the players...
That's one of the Brazilian Killers players.
Yeah, he got knocked out getting out of a car too quickly. We'll be able to get picked up as there is nobody around them, but more action without a seatbelt. And you can't be having that. It looks like 6-9 are just hopping in a vehicular and getting out of dodge. Some spray might come down, but it is a very long way, and that AKM is not going to connect.
Gonna try it again, but 6-9 will vanish over the nearest hill. That will be Drunks Marines left without too much to gain, but I think 6-9 will be feeling pretty happy they got out of that. That was a sticky situation there for a while. They had a couple of knocks. They were pinned down, but managed to get out. They're going to be able to move on and continue looting now. RD nearly lose somebody to Crazy in a car, but not going to drop anyone just yet. Crazy, though, still moving in on this compound. Got one vehicle at least, so...
Those early knocks can be quite annoying too, because obviously it reduces the time that you can get revived on the next knock. And it also burns some meds, and if you did have armor on, it will burn the durability of that too. So you've got to be careful not to get knocked too much on the early game. Like going into late game, if you do get knocked, it can be quite difficult to find the time to revive you. So if you reduce that time there, you could be seen going out pretty quickly.
Having a quick look at the standings as well, we do have 4 of the top 5 in this game, I believe.
We have Brazilian Killers, we have 6ix9ine, so we have Team Queso as well. They're in the mix. So I think it's 3 of the top 6 area. As Spray comes down onto a bike. Bike's pretty easy to take down. The players on the back are very vulnerable to will get away, as we see now. RD are in the blue. They're stuck there for a little bit. Unfortunate for them. They'll want to get out of that as soon as possible. As we're on board with Crazy on a bike. Hopefully they stay on the bike and they don't either hop out too soon or flip themselves.
We haven't really seen
their team.
Too many problems with motorbikes just yet. Stunts. We've seen some...
He's right.
We've seen some interesting sidecar situations, because sidecars suck. We've seen a scooter backflip, which I maintain is the coolest thing that's happened all stage.
It is one of the coolest things. There's a couple of 1v4s or 1v3s. I'd argue
this is amazing gameplay, but come on.
The scooter flip was pretty nice.
It was indeed pretty cool. But we haven't really seen anyone come a cropper on bikes just yet, so... see if that remains the case. In the meantime, Crazy just going to swap out a couple of players into a car instead, so they can have the scouts or a scout on a bike. Ooh.
So you want to lose it?
It's fine.
Yeah, he's fine for
Handling
now.
sometimes appears a bit questionable, but that could just be a combination of latency to the observing. We'll see.
He's hit the north. Go, son. Go, son.
Go, son. Oh, that's a bit of an awkward time to hit that jump.
2 players down already. This is the side of PK. They are, well, they're not enjoying at the moment this. There's 2 players gone already.
Isn't it? Was that not 3?
I believe it was only 2.
Oh, no, 2. Team kills 2, you're right. If they hadn't, yeah, there's the other 2. If they hadn't hit that jump, they might have been fine, but it completely killed their momentum and let them get sprayed down, which not what you want to happen, and these LP guys will be pretty happy about that one. That's Loops. They did just get delivered 2 free kills, essentially.
Don't mind that. They did get very close yesterday to getting a chicken dinner on Vikendi, but they just fluffed it at the end, so they're going to look for a bit of revenge today and push themselves up the leaderboard. Have a strong finish. Try and finish inside that top 8, I reckon, for them is the goal today. Try and get yourself right up there and give yourself the best chance of having some bragging rights as being in the top 8 going into the next stage, semi-finals.
Ooh, this could well be like a Melter Power sort of finish. So the circle is very unlikely to shift south because of the amount of water in the way.
Certainly.
And it's got to shift a little bit west, and it could be, it's most likely to be somewhere on this southern coast, but hard to tell exactly where. That said, we do have a lot of teams coming into dead center by the looks. Actually looks like we've got some crashing happening in dead center as well.
SvG, they've set up in the center already. You can see 1 player in the Wizard Tower and a few on the coast, or not the coastline, the hill line, the ridge line, spraying out some cars. It could end up in this lumber mill type area, just west of Melter Power, just north of Melter itself. That area can be very dodgy to deal with. Lots of cover there, lots of little hidey holes and rockets. This is a nice spray down. It's not going to quite get the player retreating back into the Wizard Tower. That DP active now. That's a good gun to have in that position, because as those cars rotate in, you can just spray them down, light them up, and send them packing.
And courtesy of the old dinner plate on top, the big circular clip does have an awful lot of bullets in it.
It's 47 in the chamber, mate.
I'm sorry, I'm just having that mental argument about myself with clip versus magazine. I think that would be a magazine.
That would be a magazine, for sure.
Yeah, because clip's like in a garage or whatever, where it has a little piece of metal bolted together. Either way, a buggy for Loops getting sprayed down by Crazy, but the shot's not going to connect just yet. And they're probably going to want to start moving reasonably... no, whereabouts are they? No, never mind. They're out in the zone.
Loops are okay. They have been separated, though, by this spray downs and such, because they keep meeting resistance whenever they try and rotate towards their teammates. So at the moment, they are in a 2-2 split or a 3-1 split. Well, it has to be 2-2 if it was a buggy. So they're going to look to regroup eventually, you'd think so, because at the moment, there's a lot of teams safe in the zone. It looks like there are a few teams making their way in. Brazilian Killers are making their way in over Potato Hill on the west side.
In 4 different vehicles as well. They're going to be very mobile.
They have got the whole fleet going. Must have got a discount there.
Oh, mate, a fleet discount? Absolutely. You love that.
Go in with your mates for a fleet discount.
Imagine if that's actually how it works. You just go in with like 5 people. Like, yeah, we'd like to buy 6 cars.
Yeah, we'd like to buy a fleet of vehiculars.
What's your business? We just all want new cars.
Yeah, I guess that's not the way to go about
Probably
it.
not how it
Probably
works. WM might be crashing a bit of a party here up on top of the hill. There's a team down below them as well as the INF boys who currently inhabit this compound, and they're not going to be ready for Mendigo. Mendigo even lurking behind this tree. That could be a double spray down as well. Substantial amount of damage done. It is actually the double spray that comes through. They might even be able to confirm one. They were not ready for him to be behind this tree at all. That's the remaining 3 of these WM players locked down back here. Their push stopped almost before it started. Moved at the last second.
That's Influence Rage on top here, on the high ground, putting some spray in. WarMasters are able to knock a player down, but he is safe behind that tree for now. Nades start raining in. That's cover. He's hit one of the players for about 30% HP. We'll keep him honest. Make sure he stays right where he is as they are getting their 3rd player up back into the fight. Mendigo on a flank, though. He could find a clean up here as we see. Here he is on board with Mendigo. He might have spotted them now. Definitely has.
And he's been one of the highest fragging players for this team as well. He's continuing that now. He's got a spray in the back of these
2 knocks he's got. It's actually only 1 player up for WarMaster. Hiding behind that tree. He did get hit by that nade before, so he is quite low. There he is on board with him. WarMaster out in 16th place. Influence Rage starting the day with 4 and no players down for them. That is a great start to the day for them. Fantastic. They're going to get all the loot here. They'll clean up a lot. No nades used on the side of WarMaster, so there's a lot of utility coming in for them.
Circle shifts up and away from the military island as it has to. Needs to try and avoid water. As much as it would be fun, I'd like to see a game of PUBG where you disable that bit of logic and just let the circle go wherever. Just have people in boats. That'd be fun. Probably not in the professional scene, though. We'd better keep things sensible for that. Brazilian Killers are rotating around the top side of that circle. Meanwhile, the INS guys are trying to...
This is PUBG
the IE guys even are trying to take the compound away.
INSANOS, they need these points. They really do need those points. So anything they can get here is going to help them.
Not looking too good for them, though. Their compound is getting stormed.
They do get 1 knock and finish. They've got 2 kills so far.
Oh, no, never mind.
It's a pretty decent job for them as the side of PubgDaZueira are retreating with their tail between their legs. I don't believe they are eliminated.
No, they're out. They're gone. 14 teams left. They're out.
Okay,
I think they got third-partied.
Unfortunate for them. SvG now on board with them as the action is kicking off relatively early here in South America on a silly Saturday for them. Pogs, prods, see crosshairs right on the money as the player does bleed out. That could be one of the Team Queso guys. They haven't had the tournament that they would like so far.
Nitsu's getting in very close here, under the covering fire from his teammate in the window here. So this could be, there's actually a 3-way crossfire here. Kako up on top of the hill in the Wizard's Hut is drawing all of the fire, and everyone else is pushing. And you're going to get this rotate. There's so little they can do here. Even if Mystic's able to grab one, he will be traded, and instead, he's just going to get confirmed by Malay. Is that what noise you make when punching?
Not when I'm getting punched.
Oh, right, okay.
That's it.
Sounds familiar. The Team Queso guys will retreat off and find themselves their own Wizard's Hut to hang out in, but unfortunately they have been ganked by another team. They lose 2 players to a very quick flank and ambush. Now they've got to try and find their way out of here. The M24 coming out, looking for the long-range headshot against the control guys in the hut below, but it's not going to find anything, and they are pinned down here for now.
It's definitely the Car 98, you numpty.
Not cups.
As it is Axiel.
That's what I meant.
As Axiel, we are with Axiel, who had a good day. I believe it was day 1 of the games. He had a decent one and was up in the kill leaderboard, but has since dropped off. So look for him today to get Team Queso back on track as they're on board with Influence Rage again as they poke the bear that are the Brazilian Killers. They're going to need to get out of these cars quick. I wouldn't be surprised if Brazilian Killers just turn around and say, hey, stop that right now.
We've got 4 cars, boys.
We've got 4 cars and 3 of the top 4 killers in South America. So we've got...
They don't care at all. They're just out.
They are just out. They might actually decide to build themselves a little compound with their cars. Just because there aren't many compounds in the zone. It is around that lumber mill area where Influence Rage have found themselves. See, the logging camp.
Can't believe you dropped a numpty on me live on air, mate.
Yeah, I did.
You really did. It was tough. Circle's now entirely away from the water as well, as Brazilian Killers have actually found themselves pretty much dead center with that reposition. SvG boys are in the open a little bit here, and now you can see the problem for everyone else. Is that Brazilian Killers have a building and they're going to sit there pretty much forever at this point. Now they can just start to rain fire on every team who comes near them.
Certainly will. They're still scouting around, trying to find out where these players are. We see, is that my boy?
It's Pedro.
It's Pedro.
Clutch master himself.
He's already starting the day well with a kill and a confirm on it. He has thirsted that player down pretty quick. Smart. That is the southern side of the circle getting some action as they are all alone at the moment. So we saw Influence Rage popping off earlier and they're still back in the kill feed now. As Crazy are starting onto Cream as well. So there's lots of fights breaking out, lots of skirmishes breaking out across the map, but it looks like that Influence Rage fight will be quite tight as this is Drunken Masters we are on board with now. They need some points today, but so does the side getting into them. This is quite an important battle here as either of these teams going out early could signal them in the top, or the bottom 8 I should say.
And with half the field still yet to play their games, there's no way that anyone above you is going to lose points. It's only, at the end of the day, or once you're at the end of today, the only position that you're going to move is down because no one's going to end up below you after tomorrow. You need to be securely out of the top 8. In order to be safe, you want to be like in the top 20, I would say, at minimum, to avoid people having really good games and moving above you in the next couple of groups. That's another team down as well. Yeah, that is Drunks Marines bowing out in 14th place with, I think they did get maybe 1 or 2 kills, but it's not looking too great for them at this point as they... that'll be a 3-point game. They're currently on 23. That will put them even with 30th place right now, but that's still not enough given that other placings are going to change considering how, or based on how the rest of the teams perform, so...
It was the side of INSANOS taking them down, it looks like, so... That is a good start for them. They need these points too. They definitely do need these points, INSANOS. They were one of the bottom teams. I believe they are sitting bottom of the group at the moment, or the bottom of the teams at 23 points.
As of the start of the day, yeah.
Team Queso, they are down to their last 2 players remaining. Wouldn't want to be in their position right now as a guy just keeps warm by the car fire. Not my choice of heat, but what am I to knock it? As the circle does move, as you can see in the top right corner of your screen. The Brazilian Killers have found themselves smack bang in the middle.
Watch it just shift to Brazilian Killers again. There's been so many games like that where the circle's just been like, hey boys, hi, I'm going to come hang out with you, just stay in your compound.
As much as you can claim luck though, there is a level of skill because there is an algorithm to the circle movement. So if you're able to read them and able to exploit that algorithm to get as many circles as possible, that is quite skillful. As we see the side of 6ix9ine starting to throw some nades out. That's a bouncer. Only 1 more of those to the open, mate. Careful.
That was an ambitious little jump SMG push, but might work out for them here.
It's M249 actually.
The M249 even, yeah, never mind. I saw the fire rate and assumed it was an SMG, but never mind. Gonna get the grenades out here as well, and this is 6ix9ine.
Oh, that's a big grenade!
Is perfect. It'll get a knock, and it should be a finish with the next one here. It's Pedro who's gonna take the contact, and of course he'll win it. It's still a very difficult fight though for 6ix9ine, as they do have a couple of players down here shut in the compound of their cars there, which are gonna explode here as well.
Is that 3 down for Brazilian Killers just hanging out?
From Brazilian Killers?
Not Brazilian Killers, sorry, 6ix9ine.
Yes, it is.
Oh, they need to retreat quickly. But the push isn't coming out for Cream. What are they doing? They're holding on for dear life. They should just be late. They should be pushing this kill.
I think
getting in there.
One's actually been taken out for 6ix9ine completely, and they're trying to get double res. Yeah, they definitely seem scared, considering they've clearly been to a crate. Like they've got a good.
Oh, that's a good nade too.
Got a good bit of weaponry. They've blown up some cars, but boys, just go. you know you've knocked a couple of them down.
If they get Pedro up, they could be in real strife, as Pedro has been one of the kill leaders in this South American region. So, this is not what you want to be seeing. Cream just being too hesitant, being too passive. They have got all 3 of their players back on the side of 6ix9ine. As we keep seeing this fight breaking out, there is more knocks. And that's another knock for Cream, and they're still just playing very passive. They are not in the circle as well, Cream. They need to get a wriggle on.
They're now starting to take fire from the other side as well. Crazy's crept up on them. Cream, I mean, sure, you want to be passive when you're playing against one of the best teams so far that we've seen in this region, but you still got to take the advantage if you feel like you have it. It's going to be rough for them now. 6ix9ine with 3 players, as well as Rushdie and SvG. The majority of the server still with 4. Cream 2 have lost one.
Cream has a player disadvantage now as one of the crazy players does push up, trying to get to the gets knocked out. The AK spray isn't good enough from the Cream player.
Cream have left themselves to be locked in
Cream
here
have
between
one
a rock and a
player
hard place.
up, and this is probably going to be the end of the player. No, it's just going to be out inside the blue, or inside the zone, so they will be able to manage to get 2 back up as Loops are now getting some shots onto Crazy, so they're getting third party, and all of a sudden, 6ix9ine have been bailed out of a terrible situation.
Watch 6ix9ine now sweep out here and wipe both Crazy and Cream.
I would not be shocked in the slightest.
I would be if I was Cream.
I'd be very disappointed if I was Cream, but it looks like 6ix9ine are just choosing to try and disengage from this fight as the circle has shifted.
And here's something with that I was going to mention. We were talking about how the Brazilian killers always wound up in the circle. There's a bit of a sneak peek on the map right now of how they're doing it. As soon as the circle shifted, they were in their cars immediately. They sent one player in to crash straight away. The rest of the squad is joining them. That's within moments of the circle moving. They have all 4 players in 4 different cars and crashing these fights. That's the Brazilian killers we saw the other day, and they're getting involved very, very quickly indeed. Here it is. Here's this big compound crash. Look at all the cars outside. They're coming in to SS, which is Team SoloSafe, if I remember correctly. We also have INF here as well. Brazilian killers don't care. Look at the amount of smokes. They've taken this part of the compound by force. Yeah, now they're going to fight from here.
Just chilling out in the bottom floor of that building at the moment. They know that Team SoloSafe are up top, so they can probably hear them running around. And
the cars as well to get up over their smokes.
Quite decent in this game, I'd reckon, the Brazilian killers.
Not bad.
As we see more knocks going on. One of the Brazilian killers players has fallen to the floor for the moment. I will assume that he will get revived though. As Spray does come out, he has been revived already, so they're already on that. Pretty quick smart.
They're just very quick in general, these guys. Quick to aim, quick to fire, quick to rotate as well. As soon as that circle moved, they didn't spend any time getting out of their compound. Didn't want to get pinned down by anyone.
Look at that crate.
That crate lands in the window. What were we saying about Brazilian killers getting everything handed to them?
Well, that's
they
extra
crash
cover
a new
too.
compound, and the crate's just like, hey, here's some extra cover. Is it on the window or on the car?
It's on the car, actually, which is strategically placed in front of the window, so it does block off a bit of the window. I believe there is a small gap, though, so watch them try and get a kill through that small gap, too.
Watch them have done that intentionally, because they saw the parachute coming. No, there's no way.
That's a stretch.
But there's the gap that you were talking about. Look at that. With that piece of with the cloth on the edge of the crate as well, the tarp, whatever it is, that's a really difficult angle to shoot back at.
Certainly is. Brazilian killers making the best out of every situation at the moment. We are harping on a little bit about that. This is the kill leader so far. Loops has what Team SS actually pushed out into Brazilian killers. They've finished one of them off too. They're getting aggressive onto it. That's a very risky play from Loops. One of their players does get punished, but it is from a third party.
All right, well, Brazilian killers, they might have everything going for them. At least they will be able to grab, if they haven't already, the fresh weapon and level 3s that are inside of this crate. But still, that's not exactly how they would have wanted things to go, given the powerful position they're in. Smokes everywhere, cars blocking off half the entrances. 3 teams with representatives all around them. In fact, 4 by the looks of things.
One of the crazy boys made his way in, as it is 9 teams remaining, 24 alive. That is the last crazy player in the area. So he needs to be very careful. Sneaky assassin-like, as we see Influence Rage. They had a good start up at that lumber mill, getting a lot of kills, up to 7, but only 2 players remaining now. So they're going to be looking for positioning. They're going to be playing for that positioning, last circles, where 2 players could be enough to win the game, as they can know something's up around the place. So 6 are starting to get into the game as well. They are on the edge of the circle, pushing around. They are only, well, they're 3 strong still, so that earlier engagement doesn't cost them too much. As more knocks do come around, SvG now starts to put some hurt onto 6. They are on the little flank as they're spotted now by Influence Rage in the compound is in question. Lots of kills coming in and hot and fast. A lot of teams walking wounded. Team Solo safe and Rocket Esports, the only ones for as one of the Rockets players does go down and out. Team Solo safe now with 4. The Crazy player manages to pick something off, but he does go down, revealing his position, and that he'll go out as we've lost 2 teams in rapid succession.
This is one of the most hectic smaller circles that we've had, really. There's so many teams inhabiting the same couple of buildings. Everyone's shooting at everyone. There hasn't been a clear delineated this team versus this team yet. Brazilian Killers are continuing to peek out around their cars, around that crate more importantly, which one would assume they've looted by now.
This could be the end of SvG Esports. Down they go. They might be out completely. They are.
They are.
6 remaining now. The spray goes in to these Loops players. They are very low.
Man,
they've gone too. Now it's 5 remaining.
Through the smoke. Yeah, that's Loops out of here.
Oh,
Brazilian
no.
Killers continuing to hold strong from this position, but Circle begins to move in. The Rocket Esports guys surely will be going down here in just a second. The play zone is closing in on them, and don't know how these teams solo save player up on the roof here. Veteran is surviving all of that, but he will be able to get out, and that leaves his team still with 4 alive. 3 for Brazilian Killers. The rest of the teams on the scoreboard dwindling in players rapidly.
Another player
there
down.
go
Guess
Rocket
who it is
Esports.
last
It's
alive.
Pedro, your boy, trying to clutch up again. He did have 2 clutches back-to-back the other day when we last saw him play. Might be a bit of a big ask for him to do it here as he is on the edge of that zone and they all know where he is. Brazilian Killers throwing some bullets and grenades his way.
Well, Brazilian Killers are in the same group, so they were witness to Pedro's 2 massive clutches to give themselves 2 chicken dinners. So they probably would have seen him firing out, know his position now, and they won't let him live for sure.
No, they do have one player posted on it pretty much all the time, continuing to throw grenades to
That's
harass
Sanhok as
him.
well with 5 kills, and he's one of our kill leaders in that top little pack. Most of the Brazilian Killers players are, though, in the top
As usual,
5.
yep. They do have 75 kills.
Pedro's
there goes
down.
Pedro. That's such a nice shot.
That is 6 kills now for Center B.
That's very well done indeed. Of course, still Team Solo safe with 4 players alive, and all of them above Brazilian Killers for now, but these guys haven't really been under too much pressure. They've been inhabiting this garage pretty much for most of this last stage, and they will now start to look for an engagement above them, but unfortunately for Team Solo safe, while they do have the high ground, they're being beset on either side.
Influence
And
Rage
Influence
need to move,
Rage,
though.
I think they are just inside that circle.
Yeah, well, the next one they probably won't be, but I believe Team Solo Safe know they're there as well as the smoke grenade now. Spam comes through, not going to connect as Team Solo Safe aren't fortunate enough to find Influence Rage running into their crosshairs. As a player crawls below the window, he's alright, he's okay, it's just crossed over. No worries.
A little bit spooky scary. They're actually going to swap out spam rolls, put someone else outside, but the majority of this, I love how they've only got 1 player taking on 2 up on the roof because the rest of them are worried about Brazilian Killers coming from below. And yeah, they might just make it out of here as well, crawling through those smokes.
They're going to run into
They
Brazilian
surely
Killers,
are
though.
going to run into Brazilian Killers, though. Actually, if they storm the house, they might do Brazilian Killers' job for them, but surely not.
No, one of these players has been found by Solo Safe, so it is only 1 player left on Influence Rage now. They've made themselves into the top 3, so a good start to the day, but it is Team Solo Safe versus Brazilian Killers at the moment. That Influence Rage player could play spoiler, be a bit nasty and into this fight, influence it with some rage, you would say.
I suppose you could say that. Circle continuing to push in now. We'll start to put a bit of an edge on things. You can see both players on both sides are jump spotting all over the place, trying to get any info that they can. They know they're all in the same house, but they don't know exactly where.
So this circle is just going to keep shrinking until it hits the middle, and this player on the roof, he is quite safe actually. He can sit at the apex. Yeah, this is going to be difficult for Brazilian Killers to flush out, because that center of the circle is going to be right on the apex of that roof right about.
Unless they've still got grenades to throw up there.
Oh, Brazilian Killers somehow found one of the players, so he'll be taken out. He was on the flank, looking for that last Influence Rage player. Didn't manage to find it. All he found was a face full of bullets. Brazilian Killers are sitting in a spot. Now we need to start paying to the meds, right? Because this could become a heal off very easily because it is a multiple level. Brazilian Killers are starting to get aggressive. They know they aren't in the center of the circle.
3 health packs. Oh no, this player can't go down. He's got them all.
Influence Rage player does manage to find one of the Brazilian Killers, trying to push around, trying to find these players.
That was the player with 3 health kits as well, so that's a lot to lose.
One of the players is trying to
Look at that.
He's
My
managed to get
goodness.
one knock. Influence Rage. They're all hearing all of this, but it is Team Solo Safe. One of the Brazilian Killers players is knocked out. Will Team Solo Safe make the risky jump and try and finish Brazilian Killers off again? They are. They're trying to finish him off. He does. He finishes the Brazilian Killers. It is down to a 1v2. The heal off could be in effect. They don't know where this last Influence Rage player is located.
And they're both outside as well. They've given up that roof advantage. They're going to have to run through the zone or just go straight for the heal off.
They can't get back in.
And he's
dropping all these meds to the one player, so they're pulling all their meds. This guy might go around. Oh no, he's decided he will take some 3 medkits. So
they've got so many heals. I mean, the good thing for the guy inside is that he did drop that Brazilian Killers player,
and he's
who also had 3 medkits.
He's essential.
Yeah,
he could actually win this off the healing.
They're going to take more damage from the zone than he will, and he does have extra couple of medkits. If he had any of his own, he did pick up 3 from the Brazilian Killers player that he killed. Have to see how it goes in a second, but already we can see the healing begin. He's actually going to go in for the kill here, but
oh, he's going to get pushed.
Wait,
one of the SS guys went down. I believe this.
I don't actually know who won.
Who's won this game? It's Team Solo Safe.
Oh my goodness, they just about found it, I think. I don't even know if that was a zone confirmation or if it was bullets. I honestly can't tell. I think he might have ran out into the zone trying to take that fight, but goodness me, a very near thing. Team Solo Safe just about pull it out. Look at Center B on Brazilian Killers, by the way. 7 kills for him. The rest of his team only getting 2. It's a 9-kill chicken dinner for the Team Solo Safe guys. Well played, though, by INF coming in 2nd place in a 4v1. Or it was a 4v3v1 at one point.
It certainly was.
And they managed to survive into 2nd place.
He found the perfect place in that compound to just wait it out. Just weather the storm, you know? Have a bed, have a brew, sit down, just wait it out. Go the gunfire around. And specifically the highlights. This is the highlights. This is Luke's getting
disastrous
kills.
Car crash.
This was Influence Rage taking out the squad of WarMasters early on. This is the first squad to pull. Influence Rage had a fantastic game actually when you think about it. Because on the rotate from this lumber mill down into the fray, they did lose 2 players pretty early on. So to get themselves up to 2nd place with a few kills, that's very well done from them. Team Solo Safe, they'll be happy. They needed that win too to boost themselves up and get themselves well out of the danger zone.
Let's have a look at the placings just after this game is all said and done, as the teams who came in the higher positions are pretty much the teams who were already there. I can't remember exactly where Influence Rage were at the start of the day. 17th, so they certainly needed those points, but certainly our teams in 1st and 3rd place were already sitting pretty high up in the leaderboard, so we're pretty comfortable, I would think.
Team Solo Safe coming out, they started the day at 20th. Just a few points behind Influence Rage, yeah. So both of those teams, Influence Rage and Solo Safe, needed those points, and they did collect them on the first game of the day. They're going to breathe a little bit easier. Of course, the day's not done yet for them. They're going to need a little bit more to secure their safety. But if you are sitting below about 15, anywhere between 15 and 24, you want to put your destiny in your own hands to get as many points today as possible.
Exactly that, as there are still teams below you who are yet to earn any points. So you got to be up as high as you can to avoid any potential takeovers, I guess, when we get to their games tomorrow. And I mean, that's the real concern for me in this, is that there is still teams who are yet to play. If I'm on one of these teams, I'd almost prefer to play 2nd, given the option. I'd rather know what I had to catch rather than just chasing as many points as I can. But I mean, that's the situation the teams find themselves in today, as we have a quick look at the scoreboard and see where we ended up. Team Solo Safe, a 29-point chicken dinner. Influence Rage, 22 points, 2nd place with the 8 kills. Brazilian Killers with 19 points as well, so they've all done pretty well for themselves.
9 kills isn't a bad way to start the day for Brazilian Killers, as they are chasing that 100 mark. Loops Esports getting themselves 10, pushes them above 6-9. They finished getting 8 placements points and 4 kills, so well done to them. That, again, consistency up at the top of the board. Crazy, they managed to pick themselves up some points. They had much needed points, so they've been down the bottom of the mark so far. Team Queso, they went out pretty early, unfortunately for them. Drunks Marines, they're going to need to get a wriggle on too. They're running out of games to prove themselves. INSANOS do get some points, but is it enough? 6 kill points is where the majority of those came. They're going to need more and more performances like that and better than that to get themselves out of this danger zone into the safety. Well,
this is what we need to see here, having a look at the overall standings so far, with 9 games played for half of our group here, half our region, I should say, and 8 games for the remainder. Brazilian Killers and 6-9, unsurprisingly, up on top. 6-9 are expected to move ahead of XG here, given A, how close they were, and B, that 6-9 are playing their games first. But the top of these leaderboards are pretty much what we expected them to be. Any big changes up here? I mean, Loop have found their way into the top 8, or Loops, I should say. But again, none of these changes really matter too much beyond just bragging rights and feeling happy about how high you can push yourself, as what we're I suppose, really looking at, and what we're looking for is the changes in the bottom half of this table. Team Solo Safe go from 20th to 11th in a single game, with the chicken dinner there as well.
Influence Rage, also one of the big movers and shakers, pushing themselves from 17 to 13. So if they can break themselves into the top 10 today, as well as Team Solo Safe, they'll be sitting a lot happier, a lot more pleased. WarMaster, they have a chicken dinner, but they went out in 16th place. So they're starting to get a little bit stressed, a little bit nervy, as they've completed 9 games now and are sitting in 19th. Other teams we can see Crazy moving up. INSANOS have got themselves off the bottom of the board, but Drunken Masters found themselves, or Drunken Marine, sorry, they found themselves there, replacing them. Cream, another team in our groups today. Rockets, you see these teams with 9 games played, they are starting to get into that danger area where it might be too far to come back. As we see the kill leaders coming out of South America.
I don't think that's changed.
No, Center B is just increased his lead,
it seems. Yeah, they've just got more points. Center B with, I think, a 7-kill game there, right? So
correct.
He's certainly pushed himself up higher. So maybe, actually, yeah, we would have had a shuffle in the order. He would have been in second originally, potentially, unless...
I think Utech was in second, and Pedro in third. So I think this is about right.
It's the same top 5, whether they're in exactly the same order. It's just the kill numbers have increased. We have had some consistent performances from these guys, but look, I mean, Brazilian Killers, we're looking for them to pass the 100 kill mark over the whole of this group stage. They're at 84, and they started off with a 3rd place, so they're looking pretty good.
They are looking pretty good, 9 kills in their first game, so they're on track, well and truly. Only need 16 more to hit that 100 mark. Well, that's game 1 in the books. It was Team Solo Safe taken out in Hill-Off. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Join us more for more South America action in the PMCO Fall 2019 split.
PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice.
Trying to get this res, but they're not going to be able to find it. There's too much spray. The best Pasito can do here is try and 1v4. He's actually just going to thirst the kill instead, trying desperately to do everything he can to get some team some points before. Down on the
he's outside.
RPG player even. They do know about it. They've heard it and they've been able to take him down. I like the idea. And there goes the other one. But again, they've heard that too. He does have the SMG, so they're able to run out. Actually, 2 kills for drops there. But unfortunately, he will go down.
9th place.
Look at all those free kills they're going to come in and get as well when they go upstairs. There's 3 up there. They'll
revive 1.
They will get a couple of revives off. If they revive Chainer, they might actually get off. But no, it looks like SvG will be here a little bit too quickly, and that is a lot of kills.
Ooh, that does a fair bit of damage too, knocking these players to half HP. That Molotov they threw in previously does get a knockout. This might be the signal to go, go, go. pushing in here. There is one player just sitting on the deck, knocked out. But the Molotov is actually burning himself with it, so this is a Molotov he dropped down earlier. The shot's rain out here. XG can hear this red cannons play, the last player, Mix Zero, going to push up, get the spray down, does see the player and eventually takes him down. So now it is a rough situation.
They're going to do it as well. I knew it. XG, I favour them in the duels against Hard Drop. They've chosen to leave their last player down for a very long time, and it's Mix Zero. 8 kills this game, doing it all. It's XG once again. I did favour them even with the man disadvantage. You thought they'd get it done, and indeed they will. It's XG. welcome back to PMCO 2019, South American region, the fall split of 2019, I should say. I am Brainstorm. I'm joined once again by Smash. We have just had our first game of the day over on Erangel. If you did miss it, make sure that you subscribe to the PubgMOBILE Esports YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything and all of the goings-on that do take place here at PMCO 2019. And of course, if you are yet to play PUBG, you can download it for free on the Google App Store, or Google Play Store even, or the iOS App Store and get involved. Now, Brazilian Killers came in third, 9 kills, but it was Team
Solo Safe.
Solo Safe.
Yeah,
It was Team Solo Safe, so I was going to say, stole the day, got themselves that chicken dinner, the win in game number 1, and some points that are much needed to get them off the bottom of the leaderboard.
It also styled on Brazilian Killers a little bit. We had the first Brazilian Killers player was pushed by a Team Solo Safe member, just randomly jumping off the high ground into him and then ducking back into his team. So that reduced Brazilian Killers to 3 players. Right? And then the next time the Brazilian Killers got engaged upon, it was again Team Solo Safe, jumping off the higher ground.
Jumping out of windows, yeah.
Jumping out of windows, finding some kills and some trades. So Team Solo Safe, they played very aggressive on Brazilian Killers. They didn't expect it on the Brazilian Killers side. And they ended up dropping out into 3rd place because there was an Influence Rage member hiding in the garage, cowering in fear, until he realized he was in the center of the circle.
Yeah, you say cowering in fear. He actually almost won that game for his team. It was very close. He took essentially a sacrificial play from one of the two Team Solo Safe players, giving himself up for his team and for his mate to get the win across the line. But either way, they got it done, and that's what matters at this point. And now we are moving into game 10 of 12 for these teams in the group stage, and we need to shift our conversation away from the top of the leaderboard and look towards the bottom, because it is getting into real last chance territory for the teams who still occupy the bottom 8.
It certainly is getting into last chance territory. Teams like INSANOS, INSANOS had a decent game, by the way. They got 6 kills, so that's points up. Drunks Marines, they need to get a little bit of a wriggle on. They are sitting at the bottom of the board with 9 games played, so these teams need to get out of there. They need to get the points up and start moving across. One of the teams that is in danger, relatively in danger, is Cream Esports, and they made an interesting decision. They knocked 3 players from 6-9. They had 3 players up themselves. Instead of taking the 3v1 and pushing together, they decided to wait it out. That ended up leading to their demise because they kept waiting in the same position, eventually got third-partied, and that was their day done. So they need to start getting a bit more aggressive, showing a bit more initiative, otherwise they will find themselves passively playing to the bottom 8.
Yeah, and more than that as well, it was a 3v1 where they knocked 3 and confirmed 1.
Yes.
It was 3 players for 6-9, 2 of them frantically crawling after the last player who was alive so we could revive them. If they push that, I mean, sure, there might be other teams who can kill you while you're going for that. There's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a lot that goes into every do we push, do we not, but from our perspective, of course, it's a tough one.
Well, I mean, from our perspective, it's easy, right? Because we know
it's tough to watch. Of course, that's the thing, right? They don't know what we know, and there's a reason they're playing the game and we're not. That's always the disclaimer that goes along with any judgment that we may or may not make. But look, from an outside perspective, it is tough to watch, and it's unfortunate, is what it is. If they hadn't been pushed by a third party, then maybe they are able to get all those kills. Maybe they do manage to stick into that game and hang around for longer, but not the way it turned out for them that time, unfortunately. Either way, we now move into Sanhok, our smallest map in the pool.
Yeah, it is a bit of a small map. It's quite tight. Yeah, it's quite tight around the edges of Sanhok. You need to get decent positioning, and you can't be rotating late because the cars on this map are pretty hard to get around. I'm wondering whether teams... Okay, so the plane is pretty central. It's pretty easy to work around. So I want to see teams try and get a little bit more aggressive if they are at the bottom of the leaderboard and try and find themselves escalating with the kill points. Because the kill points come, but you need to get yourself aggression. You need to get pumped up, motivated to play the game, get into it.
Given this is one of our smaller maps, this is probably one of the best planes that you can have. It splits the map essentially in half, meaning that the entire thing is now in play. So there's a lot of space for these teams to work with now. They can drop pretty much wherever they want. So we see a lot of teams heading towards the northern side of things. Brazilian Killers moving well out towards the western side here as we are on board with one of the Cream players running around getting some initial looting happening.
Oh, it's already breaking off in the boot camp though. This is RD versus...
Does anyone have a gun?
The INS.
Oh, there we go. There's one. Yeah, it looks like INSANOS is the first player. We have the first player to find guns. There we go.
There's only 1 player left for this squad. Could go down early. This is 16th place. Goodbye.
Wow. A minute and 15. That's certainly the fastest knock-in team wipe we've had. The circle has appeared, by the way, and we almost had a wipe before the circle appeared. It was that quick. It's a northwestern circle with a large part of it still being in the water as well, so could shift pretty much anywhere at this point. As we do say goodbye to RD incredibly quickly, incredibly early on. Got SvG and WM currently on your screens doing a bit of looting, but on opposite sides of this, well, I was going to say compound, but it's a little bit bigger than a compound.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of circles end up in this northwestern area, whether they stay there or whether they rotate more east. A lot of the circles start around here from what we've seen on Sanhok. So teams will be pretty used to the way to rotate in here and the adjustments they need to make. That boot camp position is pretty much key, as you can rotate across the river pretty quickly using the sandbar, or you can stay on the eastern side of the map and push around the hills. See teams filing in from the right-hand side of the map, the eastern side. There's a lot of teams in the northern eastern section. As this is Kareem. They are in desperate need of points, as one of their players has already been knocked and so close to bleeding out too.
That said, they're playing against Rocket, or they're facing off against Rocket here, who also need the points. So a pretty vital engagement for both teams, but that's a really nice angle to be taken by Zeus here. And he's been one of the consistently higher fragging players on this Rocket lineup. He's going to be able to get a reconfirm here as well. Never mind, it's
his mate
ruthlessly nicked by a teammate, but still, they will at least get it and be able to do a quick bit of looting from the body as well. That's not the start that Cream are looking for there.
Oh, it's
Control, only one player here, and he's going to get knocked and confirmed almost immediately.
So already, Sanhok, the last day for these two groups. The last day of games in the group stage for them, and we've seen some aggression. We saw lots of aggression on Erangel early on, and we've continued it on to Sanhok. It spilled over. Already one squad eliminated and a few solos picked off as they were looking for scout some information. This is another control player lost in the source, finding himself alone in the woods. Not a place you want to be. You want to be with your homies, with your mates. If you're in the woods.
Yeah, that's the rule, especially in Australia. If you go out in the woods, you got to be with a mate. You got to know what you're doing.
Certainly do. You don't want to get picked off by a drop bear.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be rough stuff.
Particularly not a drop bear with a gun.
They don't mess around, those drop bears.
Looks like this one control player might just be okay, but no, they're moving very aggressively to try and find the angle on him, so he should be all done for in just a second.
They know he's there. They 100% know he's there.
Yeah, they've got so many players shooting at him. They're just trying to bait him into one or the other of their crossfairs, and there's nowhere for him to go. He's got maybe one safe angle, and never mind, that's been taken away from him. So control, they're all split up, and they're losing players rapidly.
They are. Their last two players look like they could be together. One on the northern side of the map. That's the one I found located on the map. His brother, I'm not sure where he is. Oh, he's with him. So the last two control players are together, and they'll just play for placement now and try and eke their way out into the points section. There they are in what seems to be a little logging camp. Quite popular today, the logging camps.
We're always going to need wood to build things.
Yeah, well, most of the houses on Sanhok are actually built from timber, as it's a natural resource that is readily available, as we can see lots of trees moving around. We just hope that they are planting when they deforest, so
of course
it's a renewable cycle. Don't want to be deforesting and leaving it all barren. It's quite rude.
Whose job is it to replant all the trees on the battlefield, on the battleground that get damaged by explosions?
Oh, the ones damaged by explosions, I don't know. The caretaker, the groundsman.
Somebody. Maybe that's Player Unknown's job. Maybe that's what he does now that the game's out.
Yeah, he's built the game, now he just goes and plants trees.
Yeah.
That's not a bad living, that, actually.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad at all.
Quite calming, therapeutic to see something you've planted grow.
Here is our victors of the last game, Team Solo Safe.
Found
with 3 players at the minute.
Nice position.
Well, 3 players together, of course. Nobody's gone down from them just yet. You can see Veteran on your screen just there, a little bit away.
Yeah, well, this is on board with WarMaster, so was looking at him funny-like too. As we see a crate being picked up, it was an AWM, it looks like, in that crate, so not a bad pickup early on Sanhok. There is the ability to get some nice sniping angles as a nade does come in. That might have broken the door, sure, certainly can go in.
That'll actually holiday.
That was a bit of a throw and run. That was a bit rude.
Oh, yeah, it was a knock and run, essentially.
Yeah, ding-dong ditch, as they call it in Australia.
There's a variety of names. actually, that all work the same way. But either way, grenade has been thrown, and they're not going to get too much out of that. The zone just now getting a move on, but very slowly. And the majority of teams are already in this zone. It's only Crazy and...
Well, it's Influence Rage is well out of the zone at the moment. They'll try and be rotating in. They're looking to try and move towards the north side, but if they get into a car, they could get picked off pretty quick. As Paradise Resort is actually empty at the moment, so it's questionable. It's a position teams like to loot and rotate out of pretty quickly. As we see, we are on board now with Loops, who had a decent game one, a few kills under their belt. They'll be happy with that. Moving inside the top 8 for, I believe, the first time this tournament, Loops.
And they've got command over this northern bridge here as well. If the circle does shift towards their island, which it's very likely to do, in the meantime, gunfights.
6ix9ine getting aggressive on via WarMasters.
They're done. They're about to go out here. 6ix9ine, so many players down. It's just down to who's able to get these final kills.
Player alive on the hill. He is going to have to head for it. Well, 2 players alive, I should say. Pedro's gone down, though. That's their top Frounder. 6ix9ine in a really awful position now. They've found themselves too short. Great push from WarMaster Esports to come in there and claim those kills. They've had a good day so far, or a decent day so far. Well, they went out in 16th last game, WarMaster, to Influence Rage. They didn't have a good game 1. But game 2, they look like they're aggressive.
They're doing better so far. I mean, they've moved up 1 position from last game, so there's improvement. They didn't go out in 16th, at least not yet. Influence Rage will be the last team to get into the circle, but I mean, the thing that's going to be interesting for me is if it does end up being an island circle, because Loops still control this northern bridge. Brazilian Killers, arguably one of the best teams in the region, certainly by points, and you can make the argument for skill as well, currently control the center of the island.
Team Queso have made their way over to that island too. They are sitting on the eastern side.
So that's 3 of our strongest teams who control the island so far.
Yeah, 3 of the top 8 on that island. That's not a very friendly place to be if you find yourself on the bottom of the leaderboard rotating in, as one of the solo safe players does get knocked from afar. That's SvG knocking him down. Will get picked up relatively quickly though, as there is lots of cover around the place for him. Lots of angles now being put into players. This is right on the western edge of the eastern island.
A Team Queso heading up towards that northern bridge as well. There could be 2 teams watching this cross onto the island, and there's several teams who are heading towards it. That could get really ugly if these teams decide to go across that northern bridge.
Certainly could get very ugly very quickly.
And that crate is going to drop almost on top of Loops as well. That's going to help.
Yep, directly on top of them. It will take a while to drop down though, so it is in the air at the moment, descending. This is more poking, more fighting from these 2 squads. It's pretty unlikely either of them get a confirm on any of these knocks that do come through, just because of the distance.
If they even manage to get a knock at this range, that would be
quite impressive. Well, we saw SvG get 1 knock earlier. It was from downtown.
But spraying an AR at that sort of range, you're lucky if you're going to land a lot of bullets on target. A couple, absolutely, but enough to get a consistent knock before they find cover on you is going to be tough, but certainly still possible. We've seen it before.
Certainly have. As the teams are in passive positions at the moment, just kind of hanging out, waiting for that next circle to pop. They've all found themselves inside the circle safely. Brazilian Killers are spread out over the most land, who's a big surprise there. They're really looking to dominate. As has actually landed in the water, he will go for it, is the MK14. So it's more of a DMR than a sniper rifle, I'd say, as it can go full auto and do some hefty damage, as we now see some aggression coming in. This is Influence pushing right into Crazy, and the player walks straight into the crosshair. Unfortunately,
Crazy, yeah, prone on top of this hill. This should be a pretty easy cleanup and wipe.
2 Influence Rage members gone down already. Will they know about the other 2 proceeding or coming up? Well, stop right in their tracks. An angle has been found onto one of them for a brief moment. The grenade being cooked. More nades being cooked and popped. Influence Rage under a lot of pressure
at the same time.
Not finding on the money just yet, but they do know that the players are here. Are they willing to wait it out and push it out? This is right on the edge of the circle. The next circle has popped and it's moved north towards SvG, Cream, Control. They're all in decent positions.
There's still a lot of water in that circle as well. So
it certainly is.
There is more land on the eastern side, but I think this next move will tell us where the circle's going to go. It's got to go away from this water in the middle and top one way or the other. So it's either going to go onto the western flank of the island, or what looks more likely is it'll shift east onto the mainland. Have to see which way it goes, though. We've still got a few minutes before the zone does touch the circle, as you can see on the map there. Either way, I think it's going to be a bit of a fight at this northern bridge, no matter which way it goes, because one way or the other, I think, with this next movement, we will decide which side of this bridge we need to be on, and there's a lot of teams around that bridge on both sides to either make the cross or repel the cross, depending on which way the circle goes.
Yeah, something's got to give eventually, as Drunken Marines are outside the circle. They're the only team to be there. They'll be pushing in towards INSANOS. You'd think that is the most direct path anyway. They could gamble it, but it looks like they're not going to gamble anything at the moment. They can't afford to really gamble too much. They don't have much to play with. Not very safe at the bottom of the leaderboard. As we're just waiting and biding our time on Sanhok. Obviously 15 teams still active, 51 alive. So there's still a fair amount of players on the board. A lot of room that needs to be covered though, as the circle is only in its second phase. 12 minutes on the clock. Lots of options here for the teams. As we see the side of Cream having a nice little compound here, but they have been spotted by PD, who knows something's about. Obviously not in the jetties. Cream plays, as that would be an awful position to try and get back out of.
Yeah, there's no way out of there unless you want to dive into the water and just swim for your life, which I don't really recommend.
Action on
so
the top
far.
right.
Yeah, there's a snipe
on the
happening.
west. And there's a snipe from Team Queso onto, I believe it was Team Solo Safe on the other side of the river. So some island warfare going on there, some territorial warfare.
And that's the engagement that we're expecting, really. There's two teams in the banks of one river. Actually, no, hold on. I was going to say three on the banks of the other, but it's not. One of those loose players has actually snuck across the river, and he's now... Well,
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's the player who grabbed the crate, so he does have that DMR. He can do some big damage here, but he's still on his own between multiple teams. If he can help his teammates, though, clean up SV, that'll be very... Or SvG, that'll be very big.
Yeah, you'd expect them to try push in on the western front first and let the flanker get the flank on them and get the surprise, get the knocks out there, put some damage in. And as we see another crate being picked up, Axial, the player to receive that. He is putting that adrenaline shot straight away.
Another
It's
Mark
another MK.
14.
Yep, another Mark 14. Not a bad weapon to have on this map. It is quite powerful as it uses that 7.62 ammunition, so it does a lot of damage as a grenade comes in. I believe that's a smoke from his friends. This is around that western island. Loops do have an idea of this player picking this up though, so they'll be wary of either an AWM, Mark 14. They'll be the weapons they're probably most scared of at the range, but
That's the decider we were looking for. That means that everyone now has to get off that western island.
big smart too.
And that is going to mean that actually this works out pretty well for Loops. They're the ones who have to move, but they also have this potential flank that they can get onto one of the teams who are defending this cross on SvG. If they can make that happen, then... I mean, the other thing they might do, looking at where they're going now, they could also just cross north and know that if they swim across from Hartin, they are potentially with a safe landing zone there, as they've got a teammate already holding it. So they could just swim across and avoid the engagement.
Team that's going to be one to watch out for now is Brazilian Killers. They need to push in with the blue at their back, and they're going to have a few teams to get through, a few good ones at that. Team Queso and Loops are the closest to them. So Brazilian Killers, they got their work cut out for them this game. They don't have cars to rotate in. It is Sanhok, so cars are not favoured at all due to the close proximity of the map.
Team Queso are busy shooting at people across the water right now. They're not checking their flanks here. If you have a look on your screens, they are looking across the river next to the bridge, trying to get some shots at Team Solo Safe. So the longer they do this for, Brazilian Killers can come in here. They will hear all of this gunfire. They might just try and get a bit of a backstab here.
It's not the best place to try and backstab, though. It doesn't really give them any important land, as INSANOS are now getting a little bit too close for comfort with, I believe, the Drunks Marines. They might know something's up here. This could be a big squad kill moment. INSANOS have already wiped one squad, but it did cost them one of their players. So it will be a 3v4 situation. He's trying to jump to get just any information he can. If he can spot a helmet, spot anything. Spray down comes out. This is the side of... I believe it's Rockets, isn't it? Getting a spray in there.
Yes, RPG is ROCKETeSports, but not able to finish it off just yet on the side of Baba, unfortunately for him. However, still alive.
Yeah,
able to move around with his team.
Those two squads fighting now, the Rockets squad and I believe it's INF, so Inferno, what is it, Inferno Rage?
Influence
Rage, that's it.
I keep forgetting that one too.
They need to get inside the circle as Paradise Resort is not in it completely. RPG have the option of just retreating and going back into the circle, but it looks like they're searching for these kills. They're quite low on the leaderboard, so any kill is warranted. Influence Rage, second place from last game, almost clutched it up. So Rockets are actually looking to gatekeep them now as they think this is some easy kills they can play. Nice right as another player drops, and that could be them out. Influence Rage, second place last game, 15th place this game. Unfortunate for them, but at least they gave themselves something to play for in the first one, as this is that fight that was destined to kick off eventually, as it is INSANOS versus Drunks Marines on the coast of the riverbank. They are very susceptible to third parties if they're not careful. There is no squad near them, but there are sniper rifles in play, as we have seen from the crates.
Team Queso have just made their way across the bridge there as well, so it's only now the Brazilian Killers left over on this island, and still with a bit of circle in play on the island as well. They do have a little bit of time to play with to make this rotation happen, but the circle will be, with its next shift, almost definitely entirely clear of the island. There might be a fraction of
now, Drunks Marines, they're forced to take the engagement. They do get the first knock. That means there's only 2 players from INSANOS actually alive as they another headshot comes in and takes it down low. The INSANOS players aren't feeling very healthy at the moment. Another INSANOS player goes down soon, you'd think. Around. He does get the second knock, so there's only 1 player alive now. INSANOS is pushing out. He's found himself in an angle that is a bit rinky-dink. 2 players of Drunks Marines have dropped out. Confirm comes out. That's going to be 1 free point in the bag. But INSANOS, last player, does drop eventually. 14th place for them. Good job for Drunks Marines. They need that touchback to get out of the bottom as Controller getting aggressed on. That's a big nade from downtown, and they're gone. That's crazy, picking up a squad wipe.
That's 2 of our teams that were much lower.
That's critical.
Getting themselves some big kills. That's 2 of our teams who are really low down to the points, getting themselves 4 kills, and only, like, what, 2 teams going out away from getting more placement points, getting more than just that minimum of 1. Yeah, the circle has shifted over to the mainland. Brazilian Killers are on their way, either on or below the bridge. Can't quite tell from the map overview. There you go. It's a bit of both. They've got a player swimming. They've got 3 players up top, and they're
going to scout this whole team. TQ, yeah, they know they're there now.
Yeah, Center B, the player in the water, will be able to tell his team where they are, and they can send 3 players to try and catch them out. It does look like Team Quesos are smart at this, though. They have thrown some utility up onto that bridge, and now they can take some shots at the player in the water. There is the first of those Mark 14s getting involved too.
Yeah, he's got the knob on the side of, I believe that is SvG, getting peppered down now. Well, it's not quite pepper when you've got the Mark 14 out. The Brazilian Killers player is getting very close to the coastline, actually. Axial might spot him here, trying to get...
Not if he's in
onto
scope.
The line. Yeah, no, if he's in scope, it could be rough. Team Solo Safe are in the area too, getting poked out by Brazilian Killers. You saw down there. He gets picked off. Axial's too quick for that. That's that's a kill leader, I believe. Center B getting taken out early on in the game, so he won't add to his tally.
And now it does seem, unfortunately, as if Brazilian Killers may have been a little bit too keen. That's how they all drop off the bridge. Never mind what I was going to say. What? They go for a triple drop off the bridge and wipe TQ, with the exception of Axial over here.
And
they know where he is because they lost a teammate to him. Center B's called this one out entirely.
That's terrifying that they can get away with that. That's just dropping 3 people off the bridge and on the way down, taking down 2 players. That is fantastic play from Brazilian Killers. Good teamwork to drop down at the same time and give themselves the best possible opportunity to get out of that sticky situation. They have more work to do, though, as they're not quite in the zone. They will rotate north as SvG bid farewell to them. Oh, that's a close shot there. That is that M24 work.
Sure it's the Kar 98, mate?
No, I'm pretty sure it's the M24.
Plays on to grab one of the PDZ players as well. Brazilian Killers, I think, pretty damn gutsy to get away with that.
That was the last player from PDZ, so they're out in 11th. Now we're down to the top 10. Drunks Marines have managed to work their way into the top 10. They are the first away from the zone. Lots of kills coming off in the kill feed now. 6-9 are getting aggressed on by the Rockets guys, who have been very aggressive this game, looking for kills, searching for them, and they're finding more and more. 6-9, one of our top 4 teams, getting schooled at the moment by the RPG boys. And that could be them gone. That is 6-9 out of the way. They move on to the next targets. It is WarMasters.
And a lot of the teams who really are in need of some points are still in this game, very importantly for them. Cream is still in, just barely. Drunks Marines are still in with 3 players. Crazy's still in with 4. They've got to pick one up, but still with 4 potential.
Well, this fight's going to kick off very shortly as the Rockets players just squirming around. One player actually making a run to the rock. He's going to peek across and find one of the players in the grass. His teammate didn't have to think to shoot back as the Rockets are getting very aggressive. That's 2 knocks already in this fight. They're going for the 3rd.
They're going to charge in here.
They're so low on the side of WarMaster. 2 of their players are really hurting. They did get aggressed on now. 3 players are knocked for Rocket as well. So everyone just chilling out, taking a break at the moment. That nade could be good. It doesn't end up finishing anyone off. So this last Rocket player, he's got some decisions now as the 3rd party from Team Solo Safe is coming in to clean up some of these WarMasters players. You see now on board with Team Solo Safe, pushing in from the blue at their back. They know nobody's behind them. Footsteps though, like an elephant speed. WarMasters last player, can he escape? Don't think so. Pushes around the corner, gets taken out. They're out now in 9th. Team Solo Safe, the winners from last game, pushing up. RPG just around the corner. Will they know? Hear the footsteps now. The peak, wide peak. It doesn't enter. That's them gone. RocketeSports suddenly go out very quickly. Team Solo Safe, they're going to manage to get all of their players up maybe. No, one does drop to the blue. So there'll be a 3-man squad for the rest of this game at least.
We've seen a lot of action from 3-man squads, a lot of success from 3-man squads. So after losing a first player, we'll see if that is going to continue
That's
here.
Cream
Loops
falling out.
now getting involved. And unless Crazy can get a res, Loops the only 4-man squad remaining here now. Brazilian Killers, of course, though, still in and still a threat. The real team to watch is Crazy for me, not because I think they're going to win as much as I think they really need to or need a good place here to get some points here.
Team Solo Safe actually got the circle. The next one has popped, and they're the only squad in it. They also have some decent high ground positioning, so a game could be a double-double for them, a double-dinger, getting 2 chicken dinners in a row if they play it right as Brazilian Killers. Now they're pushing in with the zone at the back. They need to get in and get healed as some of the Loops players start dropping too. Crazy is all kicking off on that northern side. One of the Brazilian Killers has made his way straight into the middle. That is Center B, our kill leader. He didn't go down earlier, my mistake.
It was Miatek on my tech, I believe they lost.
Axial pushing in now. He is the last player from Team Queso, and that will be the end of their Sanhok for the day. Loops, get some angle onto Crazy. Now peppering behind that raw. Crazy are feeling the pain as they are dropping down very, very low. Staying in the zone though, Loops. You have bad experiences with the zone side. You've got to get out of it.
No, he's going to go down to the zone. Way to waste so long. He's just trying to get whatever kills he can before Loops are out. That's it. They were just trying to play for whatever kill points they could get. Decided it wasn't worth getting up to run. He would have been sprayed down as soon as he moved, but Crazy are now starting to bleed people to the zone as well. All of a sudden, Brazilian Killers, they do have a compound for themselves, but it's not inside the circle. It's Team Solo Safe, who are in a very good position here for their 2nd win of the day, but of course, Brazilian Killers are still alive. They're still going to have 3 players as well, as they do have time to get this res up. It's pretty much up to Crazy at this point to bring in anything unexpected that they've got. They'll be able to get a revive off as well. So 3 players for Solo Safe, 3 players for Brazilian Killers, 2 for Crazy. And that circle about to shift in as well.
Crazy are going to be forced to move first. Brazilian Killers have 2 angles now to watch. Team Solo Safe, they only have 1 angle to watch, essentially. They can divide their resources pretty effectively, as they can just watch out for whoever comes out of the compound, spray them down. Paralyzed is the ace in the hole, though, for the Brazilian Killers. If he moves up and is able to be unspotted, as he is tanking the zone a little bit now, just waiting, he's timing his run a little later than you'd think. He's just medding up, waiting and waiting. Crazy are getting knocked out by the zone at the moment. Nobody is keen to push into Team Solo Safe. Center B, the kill leader, gets another knock.
That'll be Crazy done.
Into Crazy. Yeah, they're not looking too hot at the moment. Team Solo Safe, they've knocked a few of the Brazilian Killers. And this could be a 2nd win in a row for them, as Paralyzed looks to be the only one remaining. He's just healing up in the blue. We'll get another first aid kit off, you'd think, but he's got 8 of them.
That's literally his plan. He's got 8 first aid kits and 12 bandages. He's planning on tanking the entire zone. He's not even going to fight.
Last Crazy player. No meds left on you, son. Good night. As he doesn't want to give up the kill points, so he does go down to the zone.
I think this is a little bit too premature, though. There's still quite a bit of time for these Solo Safe players to sit in here. Going to try and go for some energy drinks now before we lose the first stage. Yeah, I think he has too.
Yep, there he goes. So it will be Team Solo Save taking out their second win on our second map.
Brazilian Killers, though, must be said, a second place following a third for them, so still very good placings. 7 kills, but not as many. Also 7 kills for Team Solo Safe in that one, with Chicken Dinner going along with it. I like the idea from Paralyzed there. I just think it was a little bit premature there to try and start healing out the zone that early, even though he must have had, given how long he'd been sitting there, we must have been talking 10 plus first aids. Like, he had 8 when we swapped to him. He'd already been there for a while, so he must be talking 10 plus first aids, but even so, his opponents had so much time in that zone that I think it was a little bit too soon, but I like the idea. Something a little bit different from them, rather than playing the kill game. Just try and play the heals instead. Not going to work out, though, as we do have a look back on that game, which I think the real winners of are teams like Crazy, are teams like Drunk Marines, who actually started getting themselves some decent damage finally.
Crazy got 9 kills in a third place, so they're going to be very happy with that performance. That's going to move them up quite a bit. We saw ROCKETeSport getting very aggressive too, so you like to see that. You saw one of the highlight plays though were the Brazilian Killers from above. I believe this is it. Yeah,
it's dropping off. 1, 2, 3 off the bridge.
3 off the bridge, and they got 3 kills for that engagement too. They found themselves into second place, so well done from them, making great decisions once more. This was Rockets going out, but I like the way the Rockets played. They gave themselves the best shot at getting these kill points, and if they get the momentum in the game, they start knocking out squad after squad. They're getting these big kill points. They know they're not favoured in the placement game. Their rotations haven't been on point. They haven't had the best decision making in the late game. So if they can get themselves 5 or 6 kill points and maybe they luck out and get into the top 5, top 6, that's a decent game for them. We saw Crazy going out 9 kill points, and then they get the placement points as well from third place. So they're going to have a big game. That's 19 points, I believe, for them. So that's great job. Great job from these bottom teams making their run on the last day.
And that's, I mean, we said at the start of that, that's what they were needed to do, is it really is crunch time for them. If you're in the bottom 8 from these two groups, at the end of the day, you're going out. You're not making it to the next stage, because there's no way the teams above you can lose points and be below from B and C who haven't played yet. So let's have a look at the scoreboard here in a bit, but I think, yeah, the interesting tale is really going to be told on the bottom half of this scoreboard and not the top. And let's have a look. Team Solo Safe, 28 points with an 8-kill Chicken Dinner, 7 for Brazilian Killers right behind them, going for a bit of a heal and not having it work out. But the kill leaders of the game, Crazy, up there with 9 frags. Rocket getting themselves a bunch, as well as WarMaster. So a lot of our teams who were much lower down having themselves a pretty good time in that game.
Yeah, they're pushing aggressive and just trying to take the kills and take the fights now. Maybe running it a bit late, but it's better late than never.
Exactly, like they're still with a chance they can play like this.
They certainly are. If they can get more performances like that, teams like Influence Rage, teams like INSANOS, they need to pick it up a little bit more. Drugs Marines, they only get 6 points, despite having probably their best game of the tournament so far. 6-9, that's a rare sight you see there, 0 kill points for them. I think that might be their first egg on that side of the map.
You know, you might be right. They pretty much always have at least a 1. Having a look at things so far, no changes in the top 4, which is as we expected. Brazilian Killers, though, extending their lead when you consider they've had a 3rd and a 2nd so far. They're now at 184, and the most impressive thing for me, look how even their kill points and placement points are.
Yeah,
there's no other team who's in this really top 8 who have as many kills as placement points. Everyone else is, like, especially 6-9 with 3 Chicken Dinners, really relying on their placement points to keep them that high up. But Brazilian Killers showing that they're, I mean, well, it's kind of obvious. Like, when you get that many kills, you're obviously going to get some decent placement points as well. But good to show that they can do both.
Team Solo Safe moved up 12 spots on the day, and I don't think they're done just yet. They've still got,
you're right too.
Yeah, they've still got 2 games to go. They could get themselves up into around about 3rd position. I don't think they'll catch 6-9, but 2 good games at the back end, and they might be able to catch some of those teams that haven't played just yet. WarMaster Esports breaking into the top 16. The rest is pretty much the same. Influence Rage are in 13th, so they're going to need a little bit more to give themselves some security. Rush to Die and Loops, you'd think they'd be okay at this point. They would avoid relegation or the dropping out of the tournament. This is where Crazy's big movement is.
And Rocket as well, both of them moving up. Crazy started the day in 27th, I believe, so and that was after the last time we saw them, they were down even lower. So moving up 6 spots, 21 is going to make them a bit safer. Looking at the bottom of the table here, I mean, not really too many changes. Cream have moved up a little bit. INSANOS, Drunks, Marines, Eagle Eye are all shuffling around down at the bottom, but INSANOS, Drunks, Marines, and Cream are the teams they need to watch in these last 2 games. They've got 2 games to get 30 points, I'm going to say. Something like
No,
that is what they're all going to
this
need.
is
Senna B, 33 kills.
10 kills ahead of his teammate Mirtek at the end of the day, or midway through the day.
They have 91 kills in total.
They do.
He
they
is,
have 91 kills in total.
in a 4-player game, he's over a third of their kills.
That is... it's a big performance from your boy Senna B. He's going to be very happy with himself, earning himself a pat on the back. If they are team housing, I'd be giving him a pat on the back.
Absolutely.
Thumbs up, good job, champion.
Yeah, and look, when you've got 3 players in the top 5 and you're by far the kill-leading team, you're pretty happy with how everything's going. No additional chicken dinners just yet for the Brazilian killers, but look, I think they'll be pretty happy with how things have gone for them thus far. If they don't get any chicken dinners today, as long as they perform like this, they'll be all good. But 2 games left for these teams in the bottom half of the leaderboard to get a bit of a move on. It's pretty much crunch time here for groups A and D here in the South American region of the PMCO 2019 fall split. 2 games to go. We'll be right back with those after this short break. Trying to get this res, but they're not going to be able to find it. There's too much spray. The best Queso can do here is try and 1v4. He's actually just going to thirst the kill instead, trying desperately to do everything he can to get some team some points before. Down on the
He's outside.
RPG player even.
They know.
They do know about it. They've heard it and they've been able to take him down. I like the idea. And there goes the other one. But again, they've heard that too. He does have the SMG, so they're able to run out. Actually, 2 kills for drops there. But unfortunately, he will go down.
9th place.
Look at all those free kills they're going to come in and get as well when they go upstairs. There's 3 up there. They will
revive 1.
They will get a couple of revives off. If they revive Chainer, they might actually get off. But no, it looks like SvG will be here a little bit too quickly, and that is a lot of kills.
Oh, that does a fair bit of damage too, knocking these players to half HP. That Molotov they threw in previously does get a knockout. This might be the signal to go, go, go. Pushing in here. There is one player just sitting on the deck, knocked out. But the Molotov is actually burning himself with it, so this is a Molotov he knocked down earlier. The shots rain out here. XG can hear this red cannons play, the last player, Mix Zero. Going to push up, get the spray down, does see the player, and eventually takes him down. So now it is a rough situation.
They're going to do it as well. I knew it. XG, I favor them in the duels against Hard Drop. They've chosen to leave their last player down for a very long time, and it's Mix Zero. 8 kills this game. Doing it all. It's XG once again. I did favor them even with the man disadvantage. You thought they'd get it done, and indeed they will. It's XG. Welcome back to PMCO 2019, getting towards the pointy end of the group stage here, at least for groups A and D in the South American region of the full split. My name is Brainstorm. I am joined by Smash. If you missed any of the action, make sure you go over and subscribe to the PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. And if you want to play PUBG Mobile, which Smash, do you want to play PUBG Mobile?
Yeah.
Do you know where to get it?
Oh, you get it on the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store. You can get it for free and start playing today.
There you go. Get involved. Either way, we do now have our last two games for these two groups, at least groups A and D in the South American region for the group stage. After this, we do lose the bottom 8 teams, so at least some of the teams in the bottom 8 will be going home at the conclusion of, well, the next day of play. There's still one more day of play for the group stage in this region, but at least some of those teams will be going home as they will have played all of their games. They'll have no further points earnings, and the only real thing we'll be looking out for is to see if any of the teams who have played in the 8 games thus far can work their way out of the bottom 8 and send some more teams to going home and pulling them down potentially into those bottom 8 positions. But there's a couple teams who have played 2 of their games so far today who are still in that bottom 8. I think 3 of the bottom 8 are currently made up by teams that we have here. So
pretty rough stuff.
Yeah, those 3 teams are looking for some big performances in these next 2 games to pull them out, and it's their last 2 opportunities. We've got Vikendi coming right up now and then Erangel afterwards. It's pretty last-ditch efforts for those couple of teams.
Certainly is. Team Solo safe though, the team of the day so far. 2 chicken dinners under their belt already. They've progressed all the way up into, I think, 5th place it could be already on the standings, and they started in 17th. So 12 jumps, 12 places they've jumped today. So if they can continue the red-hot form that they're in, we could see anything happening for them. Always get as high as about 3rd place, I reckon they can get. Other teams that have done well today is we had a good performance from Influence Rage in our first game. They definitely needed the points as much as possible. Rockets have had an aggressive day, to say the least, but unfortunately hasn't been quite enough just yet in my books. INSANOS, Drunks Marines, they haven't had the moments that they've needed to capture greatness and progress out of that bottom 8. So last 2 games, vitally important for those 2 teams, especially.
They are indeed. And the other thing we should look at or talk about as well is Brazilian Killers, who are on their way towards a couple of very big milestones. They're closing in on 200 points, and if they're not already there, then they're... Actually, no, they're not. They're at 91, so they're closing in on both 200 points overall and 100 kills. So there's a couple very big potential points numbers coming their way. Of course, they don't really need to hit those marks. They're already so far ahead of everyone else, but, you know, it's a couple of nice big numbers to hit, right? Nice 200 points overall, 100 kills. They could also, actually, they could get 100 kills and 100 placement points here. As their kills and placements, I think, are 91 and 93, so they're pretty damn even. So they could get both of those numbers to be up there in triple digits, which would be a very hot start to the group stage for them. But we do now move into Vikendi, the snow map. You can see it on your screens in front of you. It's one of our medium-sized maps, 6x6, half the size of the big boys.
Certainly is only half the size of the biggest of the boys. The plane is getting painted by the players in the lobby.
It's this one again, the sort of...
It's the alien one.
Alien-y type thing.
The plane, though, it is going from the northeast to the southwest. It's cutting the island in about 45-55, I'd say, or maybe a little bit 60-40. Castle is going to be straight over the top of that, so some nice scenic views. If you look out to your left as we start to pass it, you will find the castle. Weather is pretty fair today. We should be arriving on time in, what's that one? Oh, Milner, yeah. You know, reading is actually quite difficult.
Not expecting any turbulence today, passengers, until, of course, the plane disappears abruptly after passing over the island, at which point you may have a brief case of existential turbulence.
You definitely need to get out of the plane before it disappears, because you don't want to go to the Shadow Realm.
No, you certainly don't. With that distraction aside, we do indeed see the circle pop on the western side of the island, which favours the majority of teams who did all get out on the right-hand side of that plane as it moved towards the south. Got a few teams over on the left-hand side of things, and Team Quesos find themselves as far as away as could be possible, really, sitting up around Trevno in the very northeastern corner of the island, but a fair bit of time to work with here as well. This is a bigger map, so vehicle rotations are once again back in play. Not really so much of a thing on a previous map of Sanhok, but very popular and viable on all the bigger maps, of course. Doesn't look like we've really had any teams hot dropping. Shouldn't have too many engagements to start.
Brazilian Killers and Loops are pretty close, but I'd assume Brazilian Killers move up. There's actually one of the players from Team 13. I don't know who that is just at the moment. They are stuck in the middle of the Brazilian Killers. They need to get out of there pretty quick. Smart. You do not want to be there. It looks like it might be RD, actually. One of their players has found themselves too close for comfort with the Brazilian Killers. As this is the town that we were mentioning. Brazilian Killers, Loops, they're all in the area. Just on the very southern tip of the islands. As we see this circle, though, we have seen a lot of western circles. Villa has been quite a popular location for the teams to be working around, same as Mavatra. Dino Park, we have seen no circles end there, but there's been a few that have been close enough, I'd say. Castle is still in play, but you'd put your money on it not being in the final zone. Unfortunately, because we haven't seen a castle play yet, and I'm desperate to see one.
Yep, we do want a final zone in there. It's that classic Battle Royale thing of just everyone storming. Actually, it's more of a zombie sort of scenario, isn't it? Just everyone storming a castle.
Battle Royales, you just want to see teams run at each other, shoot at each other.
Exactly.
Play smart, but play fair.
That would be a fun sort of... Oh, actually, that would be a sick alternate game mode where one team starts out as like an infected sort of team. When you when you knock out another team, they're also infected, but you can use like, I don't know, small arms or something. Yeah. The rest of the teams are survivors band together. Anyway, that aside, that would be cool. Doesn't look like we're going to have too much action early on, apart from maybe Team Solo Safe. Look like they might be driving into crazy, but seems like they've called on hold on the brakes at the last second.
Vikendi has been one of the slower maps. There's Crazy in a big 2-2 split though at the moment, so anything can happen with those two players near the Team Solo Safe guys if they get picked up. One of the Loops players is actually burning to a Molotov. Sir, what are you doing? This is a Brazilian Killers Molotov that has found itself in there. The Killers, they are back on the hunt. They were a bit quiet for kills in the first two games, and now they've picked that up as they have found two players, and they will thirst them as they're... The other one put down by shotgun. Unfortunate for Loops as they do lose two almost immediately.
It's an excellent Steve impression.
Thank you. As the rest of the Loops players... Where are they, actually? They're at the top side of the map. So that was a 2-2 split from Loops. It was about as far as you can get. The other two Loops players have found themselves in the coal mine area. So that is quite a distance away. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there where they wanted to hop out.
Unless this was like... It's either that or it's 900 IQ somehow.
Oh, well, it didn't look 900 IQ.
No, it certainly doesn't, but...
It's about 9 IQ, in fact.
Come on, surely it's like an 11 or 12.
Would you see that? They're down at 2 already.
What's the average IQ? It's still in triple digits, right?
No, I think it's like 90 or 80 something.
Find that out right now.
Anyway, unfortunately for Loops, they do lose those two players early, but the game is still on for them. If their other two players can find themselves pretty central to the zone and just holding out, they can play for some placement points and third-party action later on. As we are on squad with Rocket, they are on their camera now. They have been very aggressive today, which I've liked to see, taking it to the teams and getting a lot of kill points, moving up the ladder using that. It's quite a fun way to play too. If you're not hot dropping and trying to get as many kills as possible, what are you doing with your life? As a car has found its way into the face of Boss from PDZ. He is not going to be able to get picked up as he didn't look both ways before crossing the road, gets run over. Quite unfortunate. We don't see many car kills in this level of play, but it's bound to happen eventually, I guess, if players aren't very careful of their surroundings. Must have had the game muted too, couldn't hear that one coming. Cream have found their way, they're rotating into the middle of the map. PDZ were there. Unfortunately, one of the players picked up in rotation as the spray down comes out. Crazy, they are able to hide from the bullets just in time. Only 1 or 2 shots connected from that G36. At this range, it is pretty decent. It's tires. Picks up on the tires, starts spraying the car. No big deal.
Just shoot at everything, to be honest.
Ammo's pretty easy to find. Crazy, they are in a little bit of a 2-2 split. We did mention that previously. But they are kind of pincering now. If Rocket aren't careful and they don't pay attention. Oh, that's a big spray down though. As the player jumps for a bit of information, he gets a few shots to the chest. This G36 is such a good weapon too. Such a handy little thing. Powerful. It's crazy are looking like they want to get out of there. Taking too much damage. Not enjoying their day in Mount Kresnik. Or the foot of Mount Kresnik even.
So, sorry, I've just been looking at average IQ charts around the world, which is why I've been quiet. So, got a couple of Asian countries up the top with 108.
Maybe Singapore is up the top. That'd be
It is. US and Australia at 98, and then moving down below that. So it's like the average band seems to be from 90 to 110 or thereabouts.
Okay, yeah.
Is like where a large amount of countries in the world fall. So there you go. That was worth 2 minutes of Googling. It took me to find a reliable website.
Yeah, no, I mean, wasn't the worst information I've ever received. I knew Singapore was up there because I looked at it before.
Yeah, they're up tied with a few others in on the 108-point mark. Either way, there you go. That's a nice bit of trivia. If you ever get asked what the highest average IQ in the world is, you can say it's 108, and now you will know. Either way, looking at the Cream Boys here doing a bit more looting for themselves. We're yet to lose a team. We've had a couple of players go out, as you mentioned, with Loops, with the unfortunate 2-2 split. That's why we got into that whole
more
thing.
Unfortunate
trying to
too.
how low 9 IQ would be.
They're getting pressured by Drunks Marines, but Drunks Marines have jumped out the wrong side of the building. The Loops guys are well out of there. Drunks Marines may be sipping a bit too much on the scissored early in the morning. Well, actually, it's about afternoon over there. I think our game started about 8 o'clock over in South America. So if you are tuning in live from South America, hope you've had a good night and you had yourself a chicken dinner.
Just for reference, by the way, if we're saying that's a 9 IQ play, the current lowest average IQ is 59.
Okay, so quite away, still 50 points away.
Yeah.
As this is the side of 6-9. They've had a quiet day. They did finish third in our first game. Didn't trouble the scorers in the second. Just picking up a placement point. But you'd think they're safe at the point of the time because they are third on the overall leaderboard behind two very powerful squads in Brazilian Killers and XG. As Brazilian Killers mentioned, they are rotating in from the bottom of the map. As the first circle starts to close in, we're going to start to see some teams try and compound crash the middle. PDZ have found themselves a crate. They'll receive the level 3 armor that they desperately need as they rotated pretty early on, so I can't imagine they'll be looted out of their minds. As we are on board with Rocket once more, a team that we probably were paying a little bit more attention to today as they are in the... well, they found this was out of the danger zone really, but a few poor games could be quite detrimental to their chances of escaping.
Zeus has got the skateboard on back, so ready to hit those roads and do a bit of a Walter Mitty.
I wouldn't want to hit the roads in the snow and the ice, though, on a skateboard. Could be a bit rough. Could slide around a little bit.
Just longboard, it's the way to go. Crazy currently holed up inside their, well, inside and on top of their compound. Not exactly the ideal way to hang out in your holiday house on the roof, but either way, they do have a good bit of cover to work with here, and everyone is inside the circle at this point as Brazilian Killers work their way in from the south. Either way, it's kicking off, though. Team Solo Safe onto Influence Rage, finding themselves a couple of kills. And the other two players in their cars have been spotted out. It doesn't look like they'll be able to get the knocks or the confirms, so we'll get away with 2 players up, but still costs them pretty heavily there, the Influence Rage guys in that engagement. Team Solo Safe, our winning team so far of the day, having moved up 12 places at last count with both chicken dinners from 2 games so far. Certainly a team that are looking in form tonight as the zone continues to move in. Now, the majority of the field is pretty central. So this circle shift, no matter where it goes, should be relatively friendly.
No. It's going to go hard south.
Hard south?
Dino Park.
It's going to shift onto Brazilian Killers once again.
Well, Brazilian Killers haven't given themselves the best opportunity. They haven't picked up cars, and they're staying around the coastal region southwest as we are on board with PDZ now as they sound like they've actually picked up that Mark 14 from the crate, if I'm not mistaken, on the sound of that gun. As the AK spray comes down, it's not going to be able to collect too much there, as that is, I believe, INF, so Infamous Rage. They managed to escape with 3 players.
Looking for some snipes here in Pazina, but not going to get any at the minute. instead going to choose to fall back, regroup with his team, reposition. You can hear another plane coming over, so there'll be another crate dropping in at some point
Dino Park's still
soon.
in.
Dino Park is indeed still in, but yeah, as we sort of predicted, it's a very friendly circle shift. It's only Brazilian killers who have to move. Everyone else is still just hanging out, pretty much still central as well. So we'll see if anyone's going to choose to take the initiative just yet. It could be maybe RD. These rush to die guys, they might get caught out by Brazilian killers coming up behind them, but they do have multiple players in cars now, the Brazilian killers, so they're not rotating as quietly as they once were.
Team Queso had a player in the car, but unfortunately he's been sniped out of it, finished off. He's completely gone. Axiel's going to go charge his phone. He is done for the game. Major landmarks still in play. Villa, Dino Park, Gorok. They're the three that you'd say are still in play and could be used. As Team Queso have had a really quiet day, and getting Axiel, one of their better players, knocked out this early is not great for them.
That said, that crate drop is pretty friendly if they do want to go and grab that. But
crate isn't going to bring your homie back.
No, it's not, but maybe it'll have a teddy bear in there and something you can hug, just numb the pain.
Don't think a teddy bear would numb the pain. The adrenaline shot might, though.
You're right, actually. It's legitimately a good point. The adrenaline shot might help.
No adrenaline shot in the crate, though.
So we've got a Groza, full level 3s, bunch of ammo for it. 2 full mags, I believe.
It's not really that exciting at this point in the game, and it is right in the middle of the open. So that crate,
players scoping it down.
That is a very low value bait crate there, so don't go for that one, please, mate. Just let that one through to the keeper, pass it on.
Fortunately, they do not know what we know. As far as the players in the server know, that's a, I don't know, AWM or something.
Oh, AWM could be exciting, I guess.
I'm just trying to think like what you would even want out of a crate.
I don't know, Groza probably is one of the better guns to get out of the crate, but it's just the positioning of it. There isn't the meds in there. Sometimes you can get a med kit, sometimes you can get the adrenaline syringe in there. So the fresh level 3s are nice, but you'll probably wear most of that level 3 and
getting there.
And getting there, yeah.
And getting away again, so you'll lose the majority of it.
So there is that crate once more.
Nothing else in there, just the gun and the armor and backpack, so not going to be too enticing, unfortunately, for these players that are near it, but either way, again, this is going to be a bit of a quiet game as we pass the 13-minute mark, or 13-minute 25 mark to be more exact with you. Everyone is still inside this circle. This next shift should give us a bit of a fight. I'm certainly hoping that it goes northeast and just gets the majority of the lobby out, so we can have a bit of action kicking off, but in the meantime, it does look like everyone is going to be safe to sit in their compounds. And I don't think anyone's really going to have too much problem getting out of their compounds either. Looks like the Savage guys and Loops will have a bit of a fight if they have to move.
Yeah, SvG.
Maybe to RD and Brazilian Killers, considering RD are already on the move.
Loops don't want to move at all. They're only 2 players strong, so any rotation from them will leave them vulnerable to getting knocked out.
I'm hypothesizing in case the circle moves away from them because not much else.
Be careful, because you might just wish bad luck upon them. You don't want to be doing that to the Loops boys.
No, of course not.
They got so close to winning Vikendi yesterday. So close. Yet so far, unfortunately, as XG did manage to plan that game. Circle. 3, 2, 1. Happy New... Oh, wait, no, here he goes. It is Eastern. It is far Eastern as you can get, pretty much. Castle's just in it, but it won't be used at all. Villa is more of a central point. The Loops guys don't have to move, so... You didn't curse him just yet, Tim. The first movement is from Brazilian Killers. Surprise, surprise. They have found some vehicles.
They always rotate super fast. As soon as the circle moves, they're always on the go. It's something
they're going to run into players, though, and they popped out of their vehicles, too.
That's what they like to do. They move really, really fast. They take the first engagements they can get out of their cars as quickly as they can be.
Chased around. It's ring around the Rosie.
That's it, though. RD are actually finding the knocks on the Brazilian Killers, whoever they are, starting to get it back in. It's Center B, your boy, who's currently sitting up on 33 frags, leading that kill score as ROCKETeSport go chasing through the cabins.
This is big information. That was always going to happen to Team Queso player. He was one player, standing, and he's been taken out as we see a nice M24 shot. But this is the fight that's going to break out. The Loops guys, they're hiding, they're cowering. They've got 4 players charging into them. They're going to need to go farm here. That's a spray down. He could get more than one, but he only picks up one. He needed more than that. The second player, he comes in. He's going to go for the spray down himself, but he gets a lot of air as they are knocked out. This is the WarMasters claiming a victim. They need the points too, the WarMasters. They're not sitting too pretty. Loops Esports down in 16th. Unfortunate for them as they played so well on Vikendi yesterday Team Queso, that could be their last player or second. No, they've still got 2 in the northern side as well. So Team Queso, they're feeling under the pressure right now as they're getting pushed by the Brazilian killers as well. So don't know if he's been found out though so far. He's playing very silently. He's hearing all these footsteps. He would be very scared at the moment. I would be if I was hearing all these footsteps. No danger is about, and you can't fast travel when there's enemies about.
You certainly cannot.
Oh, he's just behind this wall. Oh, it's so close.
Is Mitek going to check his hard left here? He has no... Didn't check him, but somehow that's not a converted shot from Mini Uzi.
No, Mini Uzi didn't manage to get sprayed down. Mitek, thanks to his lucky stars, he would have panicked there. Well, he obviously heard that I did.
We panicked for him, I think.
Yeah, Mitek manages to make it out alive. He's one of our kill leads. I believe he's second on the board, 10 behind his teammate.
Replay of you going...
Nah, definitely don't need that. They were very manly screams.
Tweeted at Smash Darts on Twitter.
Ooh, almost getting that car explosion, getting some knocks onto players. That is, I think it's Drunken Marines, sorry, not Masters, Marines. Ooh, grenade rolls out. These players are so low. This could be more kills for the WarMaster Esports, who do need it. As mentioned before, that was a PubgDaZueira getting a knock as well. So the action is kicking off around the map now, as we have this wide shot of about 4 teams in QE of each other, as WarMasters have been just putting sprays down.
There's no chance anyone's going to get that one.
Well, QE.
Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of the references we make, I'm sure people could pick up on context, but no one's going to get in QE of each other.
Well, I mean, okay, so they're in shouting distance of each other.
Yeah, for additional context, it's an Australian thing. You know, I'm not even going to do it because it'd just be way too loud in the studio to demonstrate. Yeah. But look, it's something you yell at each other, and it's just a general sort of informal judge of distance. Explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog. You learn a lot and you kill it in the process. But either way, we're going to move on. The circle is, certainly. And Brazilian killers are once again getting their rotation on, and they're actually going to rotate into the blue a little bit by the looks of things, head out through Dino Park, and potentially going to try and go all the way around the circle and come in on the eastern side.
Well, they've done well to avoid buying a ticket in Dino Park. They're just moving to the south of it, or the north of it, sorry, as they are going to try and rotate in. Closer to Tovar, I believe they'll try and come in. They've gathered that from the amount of shots, there's a lot of squads on this western coast, so they want to get in to a place that's nice and safe. As Brazilian killers did drive past this mess of teams that we find ourselves with on the southern area of the circle. Villa is completely empty, is still in the zone, so nobody wants to go stay there. The rent prices are a bit high, or the hotel stay in a villa. It's quite a nice area, actually, the villa. As we find ourselves with Team SS, the solo safe boys, looking for their 3rd chicken dinner in a row, are probably the best placed at the moment. Cream, not in a bad position either. 6-9, they have a decent spot. They are going to have Brazilian killers on their backside soon, though. They wouldn't have expected that. INSANOS are in the area too. So lots of action on the south and southwestern side. RD still need to push into the zone. The last player from Team Queso near Rockets, so he needs to be very careful when he does eventually try and move in. As Team Rocket does know that he's there, Rocket Esports.
Team Rocket.
Well, Rocket Esports know that he's there because he's the same player that looked at that crate earlier and was getting spammed out. So he hasn't moved. He's been playing the patience game, the long con. This is on board with Team Solo Safe, our team of the day, as they've back-to-back chicken dinners in game 1 and 2 on Erangel and Sanhok. As Knock comes out, that is RD as they start to push in on WarMaster Esports.
It is indeed. Things still going pretty slowly here off the start. We have lost a team, but we've passed the 20-minute mark and not too much action has happened, as the circles have been pretty nice to just keep everyone in them. However, this next shift will be a pretty rapid reduction, or a pretty big reduction in size of the circle, and that should force a few teams out of their current hidey holes. And that's just rude.
Oh, I don't think it's going to
I think it's a little bit too far, yeah, but they know exactly where he has to be playing from. They're going to chuck another one out as well. This one might even pop on top of the rock just to make sure it gets him, yeah. Now
it doesn't look like it's burning.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it might have just spread to the front side of the rock and not the back side. There's a grenade, though. That might do it.
Zeus is like, guys,
bang!
He's there. I promise you. Just throw more grenades.
Yeah, he's very low, too. So one more grenade would have done it. As the Brazilian Killers are getting ingressed on as they tried to crash into the team of SS. And SS have been on fire today. So Brazilian Killers have their work cut out for them to try and break that fight open as the Molotov goes out again. And he's managed to avoid it once more. So that's 3 Molotovs and a grenade expended for this one fella.
If you're so confident, boys, just push him with 3. He's on the edge of the zone. You can't... The zone's actually shifted away from you now. You can't really afford to mess around with this fight too much.
This is a big fight. This is Team SS versus SvG for this compound. Brazilian Killers are on the other side of the road. Team SS are taking casualties. SvG.
This grenade
hang on.
Really good. Did that bounce out?
Oh, he bounced out.
I think the Molotov made it in, though. That might do some damage. Gonna try again. That one.
Oh!
Nope,
does end up getting taken out. And that could
grenade
be SvG gone, though. As Team SS have lost 2 players.
Yep, that's SvG out.
And that Team Queso player does end up falling eventually.
And SS?
No, SS is fine.
We just lost another team.
Yeah, Team Queso on the northern side. That player ended up getting picked up. That is Brazilian Killers gone, though.
Ooh.
So they're not at that 100-point mark just yet. They have one more game to go to get to it. Oh, that's a nice spray down into that car as well. There could be more knocks to be had. Team SS, they're only 2 active at the moment, 2 alive. So repeat chicken dinner for them is looking more and more unlikely as 6ix9ine are looking for kills and looking for squads to go and annoy.
And that would be a nice little return to form for 6ix9ine as they were one of our strongest performing teams in the early days of this region. They're in no danger of going out, of course, but they're going to crash this compound, see what they can do against this team INSANOS. Molotov getting in. Yeah, I mean, if they have grenades that can go into these corners, then it's going to be real rough. They have seen them coming out there, and
that's a
Tassin will be able to get the knock. And the confirm just about there as he disappears around the corner.
Oh,
the car explosion! Oh my goodness!
They all gone? They are!
That's 6ix9ine eliminated by 1 car.
That is incredible from the side of INSANOS. Whoa! That is some unlucky stuff there. Play of the day goes to INSANOS' grenade usage. The Molotovs block off the exit. The one player does the mad dash across, and you thought all is lost when he gets taken out. But the one nade to blow up the car, taking 4 down.
Watch that have been a bait just to keep them there as well. He's like, guys, if I dive across, they'll shoot at me. But as soon as they get me down, they'll think they have an advantage and they'll hang around. If you blow that car up, they're done.
Team Solo safe and find themselves in the center of the circle with those 2 players. So the circles continues to go on to them as they are the highest rated squad remaining in the lobby. Crazy 4 strong as well. They are in need of points. Cream on the high ground, it seems. Infamous Rage, they are coming into. There's lots of teams still around in the play. There's Critical as well, rotating through the crazy guys, manages to get through there. They're actually going to crash into the compound that SS are in. That could be a messy fight as they have worn some bullets going into that. This is that fight now. There's probably not the most amount of grenades left on this SS squad. As the Alive board comes up, we love to see that. Critical Esports, Cream, and Crazy all with 4 alive.
All teams who need those points as well.
Critical's 1 player gets knocked out on the rotation though, so they're going to hope for the statistic in INSANOS. They are only 2 strong at the moment. They're coming to crash in to the party.
Drunks Marines, also a team in the need of some points here, so they'll be hoping to stick around for a little bit longer, or at least for as long as they can, as we do have an AWM on play on the field somewhere by the looks of things.
Yeah,
here, I believe I just saw one in the kill feed.
INF now. They're answering back, but they're in a weak position. INSANOS, they are in need of some help as they only have 1 player alive at this current moment in time. It looks like that player that is down won't be able to be revived either.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get to him at all there, so have to see what they're able to do with just the 3. Doctor's going to get confirmed by Cream. That's one of the INSANOS players down, leaving them with only 1 now. But they did also get that wipe onto 6ix9ine earlier, so hasn't been too bad of a performance from them, despite the fact that they look like they'll be going out in 9th position. Cream getting a few shots on from up top as well. It's Bad Bunny, who has been one of the better players for this Cream side in the decent-ish games that the more decent games that they've had. They've had a few that have been quite rough. That's some great cover there from Bubba, helping out his teammates there. And that if he sprays his smoke, that could be like a wipe, pretty much.
That's the last play from Rockets too.
Rage guy.
So they know he's here now. So his time is limited on this earth. He does get the AK, picks it up, runs into the smoke, but they have picked up players and he's just running into his own death at this point. Unfortunate for Rockets, as they have been playing very aggressive, a brand of mobile PUBG that I like to see, but they go out in night. As we continue the shots to rain out, Crazy knocking more heads off. They do get one of their players knocked down, but they'll eventually get back up as smokes go out. One of the Infamous Rage players does get sniped out though, so they're down to 2.
Look at this new circle. This is the sort of circle we're finally getting that we've been wanting all game, where only one team's actually in it and everyone else has to rotate. So far, most of the circles have had most teams not too far to move, but looking at your screen here, every single one of these compound fights that we're currently seeing has to end one way or the other so that the team who wins it can rotate. All of these buildings here are outside of this zone.
PDZ, the only squad in the zone at the moment, as Cream push in onto the side of the Drunken Marines, or Drunks Marines, and they start running through them pretty convincingly. One of the Drunks Marines players is on the flank. He's going to get picked off as everyone turns to look at him. Another Drunks Marine player goes down. They are left with one player from 3 to 1 pretty quick, but Cream are getting aggressed on themselves. As the last Drunks Marine player putting up a valiant effort, almost gets the wipe. There's 3 Creams on the floor. They're having to balance who gets rezzed first, just because people have been knocked out already.
If someone chucked a nade through that window,
well, that's a 4-banger if there's a nade go through.
Absolutely, it is. But it looks like they will prioritize correctly with the revives here. Never mind, he's actually going to take time to heal himself, but
yeah, well, you know,
should still be able to get his teammates up.
If a nade comes through, he can maybe survive.
Maybe tank it. Yeah, that's the point. He'll get the revive that he's doing. Either way, his team will stay alive. Control now jumping in some cars, getting a move on. They're actually just going to go straight past Influence Rage here and see if they can make it.
Yeah, one of the players does get picked off.
Goes straight back into that fight, and this may well be Influence Rage going down. It's very awkward engagement here for these control or critical guys, I should say, but they're able to hold on to it, knock out
weapon
one.
Spot. Swap there. Swapped into the mini Uzi when he was running out of ammo in the G36 to just get that.
Remember, it's always quicker to swap your secondary than it is to reload.
Correct.
It's a long stated rule.
That is a correct tip. As the last player from Influence Rage, they just sitting there, hanging out. Nades coming through. That one isn't popped just yet, I don't believe. It may be a Molotov.
Could even be another smoke. Not actually sure.
Side of Critical. No, he's there. They want this point too. They are central to the circle, but they will get backstabbed in a moment, you'd think.
Yeah, Cream should be
Cream.
In. Looks like Influence Rage are just...
Oh, it's just the one player. He does peek for the spray down, but now he's giving up his spot, and the nade comes through. The nade to go on the left side too to chase him round. Where are you going to go? There's nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Nades roll through, he's done. But the flank does come in from aforementioned Cream, and they knock out Critical as well. So we're down to our final 4. INSANOS, PDZ, weakened, Cream, Crazy, still with 4.
How many times, though, do PDZ get to be handed the circle?
That's 3.
That's 3 in a row as we've been shrinking in here, and I don't think this last player from INSANOS is going to be much of a threat. Looks like he's out in the blue.
He's out in the blue. He's done.
So, yeah, he's done. There we go. The play zone will confirm him. So, Cream and Crazy have to try and rotate in, and PDZ, they look like they've got themselves some pretty decent cover here.
This is the MK14 that he's on board with.
Looking away.
Full level 3s as well. He's in the perfect position now.
He is, but there is a ghillie behind that tree as well, and this Crazy player.
He is decked out of his mind. He knows he's there, so the ghillie won't do much good. As he just kicks his stims up the top. That was the Car 98 knocking out one of the Crazy players. So they are getting bombarded as they try and push in. Another long shot there. I believe
so the snipes coming out on all teams now. They've all got some decent long range as well as the ARs to go along with it. So
this is the last player of Crazy on board the team. He sprays into Cream. That mini Uzi. He is gone. Cream 3v3 as one of their players has been knocked out. Don't know if he's going for the revive on that. That might be Bad Bunny actually knocked out. You wouldn't like to see that if you're a Cream fan, because he has been such an influential player.
That said, PDZ still have the better positioning here. And look at them. They've spread themselves out, choosing to go for a big old defensive line. They're all shut in behind rocks here. That crate shouldn't be... I mean, it's pretty late in the game. It's some fresh level 3s. Whatever weapons in it shouldn't really make too much of a difference. Everyone should already be pretty kitted out.
I think the player that was there from previously might have got those level 3s, but there's a lot of loot boxes there that you could try and pick one up from. As Bad Bunny is able to get revived on his last legs. That's big that's a big moment because Bad Bunny, in the first day of the groups, he managed to get a 1v3, which was quite nice to watch. So, big clutch player, potentially.
Here's the other thing that's difficult for PDZ here, is that they're about to have to move. They're spread out in a line, which is great for having crossfires, but the problem is they're 3 players. One of them is surely about to be outside the circle when it shifts, if not 2.
I don't know. I think this might be one of the last circles just closes in towards the center. If that is the case...
Well, yeah, one of their players is way out on the edge of it. Yeah, it is indeed. You're right. It's just going to shift straight in towards the center. So
spray comes out. That is PDZ getting a knock again on Bad Bunny. So he is bleeding out pretty quick.
Oh, look at this peek up on the right-hand side of your screen there coming out.
The headshot comes out.
Playing this to perfection. Getting the peeks out as well, but unfortunately Cream is going to pick up one of these players here. Rolex, though, will be getting that trade off, and Cream just down to a couple of players here now. It's a very difficult engagement for them to take. They've got 2 players knocked down. It's a 2 versus 3, I believe. Both teams will get a bit of a chance to revive. I mean, all players still alive. I was talking in terms of players who can still shoot, but it looks like there will be a brief truce call in order to get some reses off. But no,
pick it up.
I'm not actually sure there. No, it's PDZ. They sprayed down both players in the open as they pushed up, grabbed themselves an 8-kill chicken dinner. They'll be happy with that. Cream, though, a very good game for them. They get themselves, what, 9 kills over the course of that game in second place. So they have more than rescued their chances in this group stage over the last couple of games. They'll be very happy with how this day has turned out for them.
Another one, Crazy, as well, in third place coming in. They only got 4 kills, but the positioning and the placement points for them are vital.
That's 2 top 3s, right?
Yeah, that is. And INSANOS picking up a 4th place with 5 kills. So that's much needed points for these teams. Maybe leaving the run too late for INSANOS, but any points they give themselves gives themselves the best chance of getting out of that bottom 8, which is where you don't want to be at this point. This was a funny moment there. Midtech running straight past the Team Queso player, but turned around, eventually got it. This was the moment, though.
Yeah, this is it, though. See, that, I'm wondering if that from Sentry there is bait. He just jumps out in the open, but then... Oh, wait.
So the nade comes through, damages them, then it blows the car up, which finishes them all off.
Goodness me.
Beautiful play.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see that every day. It's looks a bit of a chaotic end to the game, but one that was well earned, and I think we're actually going to have some pretty substantial differences in our bottom 8 now. Of course, we do still have another 16 teams who are yet to play, and of course, one more game for the teams in groups A and D of the South American region, which is what we're looking at right now, that's who's in these games. But look, I think it's going to be potentially some interesting changes in our bottom 8. But Crazy, for sure, have completely rescued themselves.
There's definitely going to be some movement around that bottom and mid pack of the table as teams like Cream, teams like Crazy are getting into the groove now, and they're starting to put up some good performances.
They are indeed, and I think they've just got in before the buzzer, right? If they started doing this in game 3 and 4, it would be too little too late. But Crazy had a good game in game 2 as well, so I think Crazy, for one, are going to be okay. We'll have to have a look at the leaderboards here in a second to see exactly how it's going to go out. They started in 27th at the start of the day.
That is a look there. So 27 is a long way to climb.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they've done pretty well. They've got a couple of kills each game. They've got 2 top 3s back-to-back, so they should be feeling pretty comfortable. We'll have a look first, though, at the game we just had before we talk about things overall. Crazy with an additional 14 points for themselves there. Cream, 23. PDZ, of course, with the chicken dinner. 28 kills for them. INSANOS, I mean, they're certainly going to move themselves up, but whether it'll be enough, I think will depend entirely on the next game. They haven't got enough done here. Drunks Marines, only the 6 points. I mean, yeah, sure, you have a better game, but better is still not good at this point.
I think Drunks Marines might have left it a little too late, just playing for pride at this point. Getting a top 8 finish, though, they can be proud of that. Team Solo Safe are continuing on their decent day, coming in on 6th place. So they've added a decent whack of points today.
And for INSANOS, I mean, we'll have to have a look at the updated leaderboard in a second, but at the start of the day, if you got 13 points, INSANOS were in 32nd. If they had 13 points, that would have moved them from 32nd all the way up to 25th. Okay. So almost out of the top 8 entirely in one game. Of course, we have had 2 games since then, so it's not like that, but we'll have to have a look at the final scoreboard here in a second. Loops out down the bottom, Brazilian Killers out down the bottom. Yeah, but they're all names who are well and truly safe at this point. I don't think anyone's going to be too concerned about their placings there. WarMaster got out pretty early, but they also had a pretty decent game. Overall. So here is overall 94 and 94. Brazilian Killers tie up their place points and kill points, which they were 91 and 93. So you can see they've had some pretty, they've had a not great game. But look, they're still doing very well for themselves. The top 3 remain unchanged. Team Solo safe for move up into 4th position, swapping places with Bastardos, but not much changed other than that. The interesting part, as per usual, is going to be the bottom half of this leaderboard, as that's where we're actually going to have big changes, and that's where we are eliminating teams from.
6 kills remaining for Brazilian Killers to bring up the ton in both categories, so they're going to need a big Erangel to finish off, I think.
Yeah, but Erangel's reliably been big for them.
It has been reliably big for them. I actually can't wait to see the stats for that. As we see more, this is Influence Rage moving up all the way to 11th place now. There's some good moving and shaking there as PDZ find themselves with that chicken dinner moving up into the top 12. So you'd think that those two teams maybe have got themselves enough points to, well, definitely got themselves enough points to avoid the bottom 8 now. So
look at that, 10 teams in triple digits, by the way.
Yeah,
crazy all the way up to 18th. That's 9 positions gained since the start of the day. They should be feeling pretty comfortable about that right now.
Certainly should. Cream starting to work their way up. They're going to need one more big game, I think, to guarantee safety, but
so too critical.
Critical as well, but Critical have been having a pretty poor day today. This is the bottom of the block at the moment, though. Drunks Marines, they've played 11. They've got 38 points. They are all but done and dusted, you'd think, at the moment. INSANOS move up, but is it enough? I don't know. I don't think it will be. They'll need another big one. Like
one
a really
more big game will get them out of the bottom 8. There's no guarantees that they will stay out of the bottom 8. They're not going to be comfortably out of the bottom 8, but they can at least give themselves a shot, right? The only thing you can really do today is get yourself out of the bottom 8. You can't guarantee you'll stay out, but it's the best chance you have. Our kill leaders, once again, nothing's changed. Brazilian Killers went out early, so they haven't really added too much to their total, but the order remains the same. The 5 players remains the same, and that just tells you individually how many kills these guys are ahead of the rest of the pack, really.
They are so far ahead of the rest of the pack. Maybe some of the players tomorrow can pick up the pace and get some kills there and break into that top guys. As the bottom 3 there in that top 5, Pedro, Swagwin, and Natalski, they've been pretty quiet. Well, Natalski hasn't been playing, but Pedro and Swagwin
have been very quiet. He's been so quiet he's not been in the server.
So he hasn't. He'll be on the server tomorrow, though, and maybe he can make a run for that first place. If he gets 10 in a day, then he could come through with a win.
Yeah, certainly could, but we have one more game, and I mean, there's only, Drunks Marines, we're thinking, it's you know, don't want to be all doom and gloom, but I think they're the only ones that are really locked into this bottom 8 at the minute. Everyone else who is in there who's playing today has a chance of making it out, so one more game to make that possible, one more match. We return to Erangel for the last chance for a lot of these teams to avoid elimination, potentially, and there's only one way to find out how that's going to go. We've got to play Erangel, which we'll do right after this short break. Crunch time here at PMCO 2019 for Groups A and D of the South American region. We have just one more game for these groups in the group stage, and for the teams in the bottom 8, currently that means one last chance to get themselves some good placings and move themselves up higher and out of potential elimination. My name is Brainstorm. I'm still joined by Smash, as I have been all day, and for most days, apart from, when I bailed on you a little bit, but doesn't matter. We're back. We're back and into things here, of course, and if you want to get into things and stay involved, of course, you can subscribe to the PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. Keep up with everything and make sure you're following all the games, and download PUBG Mobile for free from the Google Play Store and the iOS App Store if you want to, well, watch along and play along. You got a YouTube link and a games download. There you go. That is the things that you can keep up with on your own, apart from just sitting there and listening to us, and we'll hopefully keep you up to date with everything else. So we have one game left. This is half of the region. We've got groups A and D. B and C will play again soon, and that will be the entire group stage wrapped up, and we will get rid of 8 teams.
So we'll be getting rid of 8 teams after tomorrow. I believe the last day of group stages is. Might say goodbye to a few teams today if they don't get a wriggle on. Drunk Marines, I believe it is. They need to get out of, get a win or get a second place or third place. Do you think that anything lower than third place, and they'd be struggling to get out of that bottom out? Because they need a lot of points.
Even if, they've played 11 games and things have not been good for them. Even if we ignore all of that and say, yeah, they're going to have a really high kill performance and move on. A really high kill performance so far has been 10 kills has been a high kill. Like, we have had a few 15s. I think 17 is still our record for elims in a single
I've seen a 19, I've seen a 21.
Oh, so, well, I've seen a 17. There you go. So we've had, like, around the 20 mark is, like, a really, really good game. But a decent game of PUBG for our team so far has been 10 kills.
Yeah.
So if you're only getting the 10 points here, as these teams in the bottom 8, without getting another 10 plus points from placements, you're not getting out of the bottom 8. So it's got to be pretty much, for Drunks Marines at least, they need top 3 or else they will be out of here in the group stage. We do go back onto Erangel here, the OG, the classic, a fitting way to end it for groups A and D in the South American group stage. This is the last chance for them to, well, make anything happen here, really. And as we have a look at this plane line here, we're starting over Stalbart, starting over the mountains there and heading down over the western side of the map to the southwest.
Yeah, we are, and so some stories to pick up on this game are the Drunk Marines. They need some points. Brazilian Killers, they are 4 kills and 4 placement points off 100 in each category. So
that's 6?
Yeah, yep, 6. They're on 94, 94.
Whatever it is. Something like that.
So they're chasing that dream, that 100 mark on both of those fronts, so that would be nice for them. It's nothing really else to worry about. Team Queso, they still need a chicken dinner. They've been pretty quiet. They were the best South American team at the last split, so they're going to need to get a chicken dinner here, otherwise they're going to have to wait until further on into the competition to get one.
Yeah.
That would be safe with their amount of points.
I mean, the only team who really need a good performance now, unless they're, like, I think Drunks Marines are now our only team in the bottom 8, I think.
Yeah, I think that.
I think they're the only team. Everyone else has had enough performances to push themselves over the teams who have played 4 less games. But, of course, that's the problem, is the rest of the bottom 8 is teams who have played 4 less games. So you want to be as high up as possible, because you never want to be in a position where you're relying on other teams to have bad games to help you out. So, of course, no team is really safe just yet unless you're in the top 16. Really? Yep. That's the only way of being safe at this point. So all those teams in the bottom 16 will be looking for more points, the ones who are in this group. But Drunks Marines, the only ones who are
on board with
directly facing elimination. And indeed we are. They're fighting 6-9 at the start of the game. That's a hefty opponent, but if they can cross them out, that's a good start.
Well, we saw this engagement in the previous Erangel being played, as one of the crazy players has knocked himself out already. Congratulations, sir. You are the first one out of the game, actually, I believe. As we do see Brazilian Killers dropping in Pachinki. The circle has popped and it is shifted hard east. So we're looking at Shelter, Farm, Milta, Mansion. All those places are still pretty good. Prison's okay, but you don't really want to be stuck in that crater area. Milta Power still in the circle too. Lots of action along that road that splits the middle of Farm and Milta. As we hear the shots rain out, this is closer to Hospital, where the crazy guys did drop. They have lost a player early on, unfortunately for them. This is Team Solo Safe, the winners of games 1 and 2 today. So they've had the majority of the points, as we see a completely weaponless man run around. He has picked himself up from the beds, and that's it. As the Buyers and Spray does come out, it's a long distance UMP that does take the take the kill. But Crazy, they needed points into this game still, so they're not completely safe. As we see the Drunken Marines actually get a knock on 6-9, so that's a good start for them. They definitely need the play there, and it's confirmed as well. So that's already 1 point that they definitely needed. So they're starting the right way. They just need to be a bit careful not to trade any players out. They can't afford to trade here. They need to get the kills pretty cleanly, as SS are continuing to lay the hurt onto Crazy. There's 2 Crazy players now out of the game. 6-9. What are they going to stay around this fight, or are they going to do what they did last Erangel and just bail out?
Man, if they hang around here and just cross out Drunks Marines, then I mean, they're understandable on 6-9's part, but that completely denies Drunks Marines any chance at all of not being knocked out here. So
not great loot on the side of 6-9, as we see. Man running around with a shotgun and a helmet, no vest,
he's
no
got
meds.
He's got a machete and a shotgun, so he's great for close range. He's set for bush bashing.
Yep, that machete can be useful for cutting down annoying grass or reeds that you run into, but not so useful at this distance. You could try throw it, but unfortunately, it's pretty difficult to aim that. I mean, you can't even throw it. It's not even a ranged weapon.
I mean, that'd be
an interesting way to use it.
It'd be pretty silly if ranged weapon. I mean, I'd be okay with that if you could have a melee weapon that like did substantial damage. Maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it did enough damage that it's a one-hit knock against players with no armor or something. So just in case you run into someone earlier at a range advantage, then you got one chance. Maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. You scone someone with a pan or something.
This is really bad for 6-9 actually, because they're spread out a little bit too, and Drunks Marines, if they push together, they could clean up some kills here. That shotgun is a slow reload time. We do see them pushing out now. They are searching. They know someone is in the neighborhood. They have the weapons and armor advantage. 6-9 player actually peeks out, misses both of his shotgun shots, and he'll go down. So this is 6-9 already with half their squad eliminated to say as the first comes in. 6-9, you'd think the remaining players would try and get in a vehicle and run away now. It is Pedro. Still alive. He hasn't managed to add any kills or many kills to his tally, so he will stay at the bottom of that top 5, leaving 3rd position.
Even 3rd position is still good when you're considering it's top 5 out of, what is it, 64 players per region?
64. It's 32 teams.
It's 32 teams, so it'll be 128 players per region. So top 5 out of 128. Pretty dang good.
Yeah, you'll be pretty happy. You'll be bragging about that one. Pachinki was occupied by the squad of the Brazilian Killers, as mentioned before, and they'll probably choose to loot and rotate pretty early as the spam comes out. It is an ambitious shot with the mini Uzi. I don't know if Presti's actually spotted them.
Just grab the helicopter and go spray him with that.
I don't think you can actually use that helicopter, unfortunately. Maybe in a future patch. 6-9. Just
imagine the helicopter rotations.
Oh, that'd be OP.
For bonus points, give the helicopters guns so everyone has a reason to shoot at them.
Yeah, no, that'd be
one team in a heli, so they have like so much maneuverability, but then also the entire server will shoot at them. That'd be fun.
That would be
silly.
A very fun way to do it. As Pedro actually gets a knock onto one of the players, but
cops one in return though.
And
so Drunks Marines are already starting off a little bit better. We are saying they do need a top 3 and probably about the 6 to 10 kill mark just to be safe here, and they're going to start off the right way. They're actually looking at knocking out 6-9 now and getting a revive as well, and it's Loops who've found their way out actually in number 16.
Loops already out? That's unfortunate for them. They have got enough points to probably keep themselves safe, but don't think they'll be too happy. As we see Drunks Marines, he's managed to clean up kills. That's 4 kills for them so far.
It's team wipe.
Team wipe. I believe that was onto 6-9, was it? So 6-9 in the bin. They have had a pretty forgettable day. They had the first Erangel game. They got up to 3rd position. But apart from that, it's been pretty quiet on the western front for them as the Team Queso rotating in. Pretty late, they are in the blue. They are the furthest team out, you'd say, as they are just coming past Ferry Pier now. So, all pretty quiet at the start of the game. A few knocks. Team 6-9 deciding that maybe losing to the Drunken Marines, not the worst decision.
It's community service.
It's community service, yeah.
Help the boys out. It's still a long way to go for the Drunks Marines, but I mean, I like that every team still has at least a chance, right? I mean, the games tomorrow morning are still, tomorrow night even, are still going to be the big deciding factors in terms of who goes home, because it's the teams who haven't yet played who will decide who's in the final bottom 8. But as long as you can get out of the bottom 8 today, you're at least in with a chance. You're not guaranteed going home, even if it's likely. Well, not going home, but not continuing further, I should say, as not playing on LAN. No. So not quite going home, probably already at home, unless they've got team houses. Not sure what the situations are of the teams over there. Either way, here is Loops in a compound on their own. Pretty nice much smack bang dead center in the middle of the circle too.
Really nice compound. There's lots of areas to hide. And
that's not too nice, mate. They're leaving it.
Yeah, well, I don't know why they're leaving it actually. Maybe they're going for a 2-2 split or something. This warehouse is quite popular as well.
Yeah, they're 2-2ing by the looks.
No, the player rotating over, maybe. I don't know. But either way, they're controlling 2 of the most dominant compounds. So maybe they're trying to just divide and conquer.
Diversify their holdings, you know?
Yes. It's very important as we see a Groza crate dropping in. It's got a suppressor on it too.
A sniper suppressor.
Oh, it also goes on to the AR, so it's pretty decent. It's 6. I don't know. It's a bit of a ways away, that crate, though. It's closer to critical. They're probably the closest team. As the circle does pop, and it is very, very central. It is a very friendly circle. There's not many teams that would be too upset by it. Drunks Marines need to push in eventually.
Yeah, they've got to get a move on pretty soon.
But they could come out on top of Yasnaya, that northern area, and be pretty safe, as there's only one spraying going into Crazy, but Cream won't be able to find the connection, so nothing comes of it. It's just ammunition used up. A resource used up. It is quite easy to find ammunition in this game, and it's critical. Do go for that crate, so the Groza will be theirs. 3 level 3s.
And a ghillie as well.
Looks like there's a lot in that crate, actually. It was a full box. No wonder why it dropped so quick. It was bloody heavy.
Yeah, full level 3s, a gun, a silencer for said gun, ammo for said gun, ghillie suit. They're pretty well equipped in there now, as Tom is in here just making a complete mess of this house. SvG will do the same. Come on, boys. If you're going to park in the garage, park in the garage. Don't park on Grandma's rug and then...
Oh, he's got himself stuck here a little bit.
It's not how you park, boys.
Yep, there you go. Prone out, son. That's good.
Nah, he's hitboxed. Oh, there we go. He's out. But I mean, that's what you get for a parking job like that, to be honest.
Yeah, and this ghillie isn't going to be much use inside a house.
What do you mean? What, don't all houses have human-shaped bushes on the floor that you should totally ignore when you walk inside?
Mine doesn't.
Oh. Maybe it's just my grandma's house is weird.
Yeah, maybe your grandma's house is weird if there's got cars in the bottom and ghillie suits running around.
No, please.
As we see,
my grandparents don't do that to me.
Team Queso are rotating in. This is Drunks Marines. They were rotating pretty late. They got some shots on the bridge. They need all the kill points they can get, so they can find themselves getting this is north of Roshok they're spraying into. As one of the teams finds themselves rotating into Roshok, so I believe that is the Rocket squad. They're going to run into INSANOS too, so this is 3 of the bottom teams coming into each other at the moment, as WarMasters have been found out by the side of Cream Esports. Cream Esports, they're sitting kind of pretty at the moment. WarMasters, they've got a chicken dinner, so they should be pretty happy with themselves, but these are all teams that could be vulnerable if the bottom team's next broadcast or next set of games to find themselves getting some good games. As INSANOS on board with them as they're looking at this squad rotating past.
That's the Drunks
Marines. They need to head out.
I know that these boys haven't had the greatest of games, and that realistically, if I had to predict based on their previous results, they won't make it out of the bottom 8.
You're rooting for them.
But I'm rooting for them. Absolutely. Us Aussies love a comeback story. If we have a brief moment of downtime, we might summarise the Steve Bradbury story briefly.
It could be. That's a bit of Aussie pride there.
You know what? We're going to do it really quickly to explain the whole comeback story thing. Is we have an AUG in a crate, level 3 armor, but no level 3 backpack to go along with it.
You always got to pad them cheeks.
Either way, really quickly, was it Steve or Ray Bradbury? Steve Bradbury, yeah. Is an Australian ice skater in I think it was I don't know, it was Olympics ages ago. He was coming in dead last in his heat of speed, like rink ice skating, and every single competitor in front of him stacked on the final corner. Yep. And he skated past over the line and came first from being dead last. I think it was like one of Australia's first ice skating gold medals, if not the first. So there you go. That's part of the reason why I love a good comeback story.
So you got to be in it to win it. Is essentially the motto there. You got to keep going, no matter how dire it looks. Keep trying.
Welcome to the motivational Australian stream featuring Brainstorm and Smash while we wait for teams to fight each other in PUBG Mobile here at PMCO 2019.
Brazilian Killers on board.
Hold on. Are they coming in to try and get the crate that just got looted?
He knows.
That crate just got looted, right?
Yep, that crate did just get looted, and the spray comes into the car as well. He's looking to blow it up. He's got another grenade.
Oh my god.
Go, son.
Solo Safe have just outplayed themselves massively. They weren't aware that this crate had been
both
picked
of them
up.
have been knocked too by the side of Brazilian Killers. That's so unfortunate. The other boys from Solo Safe were in the vicinity, but now they just head for the hills because that's 2 players knocked out.
That's a big old bait by Brazilian Killers there.
How are they going to choose to finish off the kills, though? That's my question.
Probably just
They're grouping around. I haven't finished them. They just... So that was one, I believe, finished by an M4. The other one finished as well. So a boring way to finish the kills. No punching, no hit markers being hurt. It was just the fact of
did Solo
assassination.
Safe just get picked off? I think their other 2 players just went down as well.
No, it was 6-9. It was the only team that's been eliminated so far. So Solo Safe have managed to rotate closer into the circle.
More names of theirs from their team in the kill feed than there should have been.
Maybe they have another knock, but they are still in the game as Influence Rage are starting to pipe up. Yep, there's another Solo Safe member going down. You're right. So only one available for them as we are on board with INSANOS, I believe, who are still very much in danger.
That wall, by the way, MVP, blocking 2 grenades so far that would have removed a few of their players. Yep. Perfect counter grenade. He only throws 1 and nails the knock that they've been trying to do to him, but Cream will be able to get that res off without too much pressure. Actually, no, I say that. INSANOS immediately pushing. However, there is a player up on high for Cream who will get the knock and establish the cover. That means his teammates will be able to get that res off just in time. He's done enough to save his teammates there. The hero play from up on top. He's actually jumped out and he's contesting.
He's very aggressive. The Cream Esports side, they need to get aggressive here, and they have.
He's got it too.
And one of the other players is very low. And the whole squad of Cream is rotating around, assassinating. They're ready to go. Not spray. Zox actually manages to get 1, but not enough. That's INSANOS out in 14th or 15th. And that's about as bad as it can get for them because they need all the points they can get. SvG as well apparently have been eliminated, but I don't think that is right.
No.
Unfortunately, we see the farm being the focal point of the game, of the circle, as it is smack bang center in. A lot of teams in the middle. Got in forward with Brazilian Killers as they're finding themselves in an engagement. They probably don't be in at the moment, to be fair. Paralyzed using a med kit. So is Center B our kill leader. Brazilian Killers getting some knocks as well in the kill feed as one of the players does end up getting knocked. And will he be able to get revived? I think he's isolated a bit. So the 3 of Brazilian Killers, they're running around as one of their players is dropping very low. Brazilian Killers have found themselves in a little bit of a crossfire as there's about 4 squads out on different angles from them. So if they make their way out of this situation, I'll be very impressed. We'll have to Harry Houdini the way out of that one as Infinite Rage are down to 2 players, but they are still putting up a fight. Grenade pulled by Mendy God, who has been one of the stars of this lineup, as he throws it out. Not going to connect fully onto the Brazilian Killers squad. They are just snaking around in the grass. The smokes come out. They're trying to get themselves forward, get better position. They are not in the zone. And a little bit more distance to go. Is on board with Swaggerin, who has 4 kills so far in this game. He has all of the kills for his squad.
Certainly having himself a good start to the game.
This is Wizard Tower being contested. This is the last Solo Safe player, I believe. And
yeah, I believe it would be at this point. We have seen multiple of them knocked down.
These are the last WarMaster players too, as the squad fight breaks out between the sides of Brazilian Killers and that squad. Infernus Rage squad, or Influence Rage squad. They look like they've been taken out, actually, Influence Rage. So Brazilian Killers have claimed themselves another victim on their way, and that might actually be the 100 for them. They killed 2 players there. That is the 100 for them.
Yeah, I think that's got to be pretty close. All they've got to do now is they need, what, 6 placement points, which is, I start being 5th or so?
Place, yeah, it's about that mark.
It's 6th. It's like top 6-ish. It's 20, 14, 10, 8, 7, 6, I think. So yeah, it's like 6th place or above, which is pretty doable for a squad like Brazilian Killers, even though they haven't had the hottest of games today.
They've actually managed to clear out that whole northern side to themselves as Cream has chosen to rotate around. Crazy find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation too, as that probably is their last player actually active. As This fight still reigns on. They know each other is there. They don't have to move this Solo Safe and WarMaster's players, and so they're not going to test each other at all. Assuming WarMasters have no nades, otherwise they probably would have tried to flush that player on high out.
And this is actually still a pretty awkward fight for them. Team Solo Safe don't really care if they get knocked out here. Like,
Got a good enough day.
They're well and truly safe. Whereas WarMaster do still need these points, so they don't want to accidentally end up getting 1v2'd here. That would be pretty disastrous for them. Like, they are still out of the bottom 8 as it stands right now. Again, they are safe, but it's safe with conditions because there's still 16 teams who are yet to play, and if all of the bottom teams in Group B and C have really good games, then all of a sudden the teams who thought they were okay in sort of the middle 16 positions or I guess lower part of the middle 16 positions from these two groups could get shunted down to the bottom 8. So as many points as possible is the goal here. We see one of these Drunken Marines players taking some shots with the VSS, popping tires by the looks. And that's so annoying for WarMasters. They're trying to deal with this last team Solo Safe guy. They'll come outside to find their cars, got no other vehicles, got no tires.
I'm fairly certain the vehicles there were actually blown up, so I don't think he might manage to connect too many shots onto the tires.
No,
there might be a buggy there.
I think it's a buggy, and I'm fairly certain I saw it shift downwards as its back tire went out, so hate to see that.
Well, as we see the zone reset now, and it has moved essentially nowhere. It's cut off the northern and the western side, so we're going to have to see those teams move in. Brazilian Killers, we'll probably see them pile into vehicles pretty shortly and get moving, as you do. Cream on the outside, on the eastern side, they are getting lit up by the loops.
Look at the map there. Brazilian Kills are already moving. This has been such a big thing. It's such a big part of their success is they get rotating so fast. As soon as the circle moves, they start moving. It's been a big part of their success is how hyper mobile they've been able to be, and they're continuing that now.
Team Queso finding their way into the zone as well on the western side, but it is the eastern side where the action is popping off as the loops guys are finding knocks on the Cream players. The Cream players are all stacked up too, so even the side of WarMasters getting involved, there is just so much attention onto this Cream squad.
They need to be able to convert their skills, so WarMasters need these points, and if we get one spray into the smoke,
straight into that smoke. The last player might be behind a bit of cover or a bit of a broken car or something because he wasn't getting shot.
Yeah, it certainly looks like they're all on the mark, but unfortunately, no, there goes the car and it gets 2, so WarMasters are still alive, but that's a lot of kills that they could have gathered that they're being denied, unfortunately for them. And it looks like the Loops guys are coming in to potentially get this job done here as well. That said, one of those players is knocked, another's going to go down trying to cross to him. That's a little bit premature, given that there was smokes on the way for Loops there.
Certainly was. A little bit premature as RPG, the ROCKETeSport club, have found some knocks onto Critical in the southern side of the map. Watching this Cream fight, Cream versus WarMaster, there's just so much here the Cream have to do. Loops also down to one player. As we see the silent Scar come out and confirm another knock, as Brazilian Killers are now starting to clean up disengagement too, as they've piled in line of sight from the middle of the circle apparently, which is quite handy. As RD now starts to try and hit. There is so many squads fighting it out now as we are in our final 11. Soon to be 10, you'd think, with Cream and Loops being so close to each other without many players alive.
They're all healing at the minute, so this just essentially comes down to, A, if either of these teams are able to get out of here to actually make this engagement work without getting third party, and B, if just whoever's going to move first. Looks like it will be Loops indeed going in for that spray. No, Cream coming in on the behind. That could be the cleanup there for them, and it is indeed. Somehow, this last player on Cream is able to sweep in behind and clean up Loops. He is left on his own, but he's got the confirm that he needs. That's a team out. That is indeed a big effort. That secures top 10 for everyone still alive. 6 kills for Swagman by himself. He was indeed in our top 5 kill lead. He's going to continue to be there. That is the 100 kills.
Yep,
for Brazilian Killers secured. They're on 7 as a team. They've got 6 on one player, so 101 kills for them. They just need the 6 placement points, which I believe is about the 6th place mark. So have to keep an eye on their placements there because they're going to get themselves above 200 potentially, and they'll do it with a very even split of kills and placement points, which is not something that I've seen before.
Not if Center B gets knocked and finished. He is half health in his state.
Oh, no.
Oh, don't you do it. RD here. As the last player for Solo Safe is found out eventually by WarMaster. So it is the final 10 squads that we have now with Loops and Solo safe going out. Squads that desperately needed points that are still in are essentially just the Drunks Marines at the moment. WarMasters are there. They needed a few points, but they are getting pressured. But the Brazilian Killers are actually getting knocked by the Drunks Marines. PDZ are rotating in as one of their players fall out of car, unfortunately. Seatbelt, need to equip it. As more fights break out, these Brazilian Killers are vulnerable, but you don't back baby into a corner. Team Queso have pushed in and found some knocks as well onto PDZ, and to leave control, more knocks onto Brazilian Killers. There's lots of action breaking out on this lower side as a double nade from Ayla, who has been one of the higher killer players on Team Queso. He was in the top 5 for quite a while. PDZ are down to their last player alive. Brazilian Killers getting knocked out quite a bit, actually. They're getting knocked around as one of the players is confirmed. A second player very low. Oh, second player confirmed even. So now Brazilian Killers are only on 2 players remaining. They are hunkered up in the smoke with a lot of teams looking at them.
I want Brazilian Killers to hit this 200.
Another player knocked.
If anyone's going to knock them out, I'm okay with it being a team who actually really needs these points. WarMaster will be happy with being able to get these knocks happening. These grenades have been on point, and
that's them
that's it. That's Brazilian Killers out, so they will not be getting that 200 points of placements. They might just have got enough kills to
they got 7, so they got
to make it over, but I think they're just going to miss out on the 200.
Around that lot.
Yeah, they might actually. They're an 8, so they might actually just have missed it. Still, getting over the 100 kill mark after 24 games is after 12 games. Sorry, I should say, is a lot. And there's
9 kills.
Marines getting some stuff done now. They are one of only 2 teams remaining with 4 players. They want this chicken dinner, and if they can get it with 9 kills, that'll secure themselves a safety if they can find it. Still a lot of work to be done.
Knocked and confirmed though.
Yeah, that's a big problem for them, and they are right on the edge of this zone. They've got to figure out a way to get out of this. They do have the ghillie here, so they've got some decent cover to hide in this grass, but still worried about Team Queso right across from them. That's the other team with 4 players yet remaining. 15 players up, 6 teams still in it. They have got some decent placement points here, Drunks Marines, and with 9 kills, they're going to be pretty happy with this, but this is last ditch. This is the last chance they have. They need a top 3 placing to get themselves out of this bottom 8 at this point. I think it's pretty much, that's the sort of score they need. I didn't check exactly how many points they were looking for, but I know it's quite a few, and I'm pretty sure they won't be there just yet. They're currently looking at about the 15-point-ish mark for the game if they go out right now, which is good, but potentially not enough. They need as many as they can get, and they are continuing to get knocks here.
Team Queso isn't the fight you want to take with the other Drunk Marines though, so hopefully they can avoid them for their sake. Team Queso now starting to push in and getting the knocks onto that PDZ. There's only 1 player remaining for that guy, and the nade might confirm it. It's all over by the crying for PDZ. Molotov does manage to... actually PDZ get 1 player back, but they don't get to confirm, so he will be able to be revived as more shots rain out. Crazy is the 1 alive. Drunks Marines has 3.
What?
WarMaster has 1.
Surely Drunks Marines aren't going to do this.
If Drunks Marines do this, I will be very, very impressed because they have
Imagine
been quiet
leaving it until game 12 to clutch up.
Yep, they've been very quiet the whole 11 games we've seen them.
They're virtually guaranteed a top 3 here, right? Like Crazy and WarMaster both have 1. At this point, they've done enough. Right? They're potentially, they're not guaranteed safe, but they have at least guaranteed themselves out of the bottom 8 with this many kills in this game. And they're not slowing down yet either. 12 kills for them this game. Where's this been?
We don't know. They've only just tried to show up, as we see the Sailor outfit, actually.
That's top 3 guaranteed. Maybe top 2. Crazy's only got 1 player left, unless they get into a massive team fight with Team Queso right now. Drunks Marines, I think, at the 11th hour, very literally, have given themselves a chance. They're not guaranteed safe, but they're looking pretty good at this point. They've got to make sure they stay ahead of that zone. We've had players go down to this before, but it looks like their crawling speed is going to just about keep them abreast of it. Got to worry though, here comes the fights coming in. There you go, that's the Crazy knockouts. That's the 13th kill for them, but now Team Queso are getting involved, and this is where it starts to get difficult as well. This player left just inside this zone. Drunks Marines, a lot of work yet to be done, and now they are starting to lose players. That said, it's going to be a 12 kill, roughly 2nd place if they can't grab a hold on this win. Team Queso will take the points. But I think it's Drunks Marines, I should say. They look like they're going to go down. It looks like the chicken dinner will be going over to TQ here, Team Queso. But Drunks Marines, there we go. Pardon me. Drunks Marines, I think they didn't win, but I think they've done enough.
Yeah, it is a 13-point 2nd place for them. Team Queso, though, claiming, I believe, their first chicken dinner or one of their first chicken dinners. The side that did so well. They did so well.
Crazy in the third as well. That's
some big point movements.
That's potentially a really big shake-up for the bottom of the table.
In 4th, RD in 5th. There are some teams that definitely needed points, getting points from this final game. Those last standings are going to be all so important. I can't wait to see how they shape up. This was the game that was the last of the day for us, and we had Drunks Marines starting it off already strong by taking out 6-9, one of our top 3 teams early on. This was INSANOS going out incredibly early. I think they were unfortunately the ones that suffered the most out of this game.
Now, not to talk about them too much, but they're really our main storyline here. Drunks Marines trying to avoid elimination, or at least guaranteed elimination. The start of the day, they had 7 kills. I don't think they got any more than they would have needed like 5 or 6 to equal the total they just got in that game in the last 3 games. And I'm honestly not sure they would have got it. So I think they've just easily doubled their kills, plus with a second place, a whole bunch of placement points as well. So they're pretty much guaranteed to be out of the top 8. But now, of course, there is still 2 more groups to play out, so they're not guaranteed to avoid elimination. But we said they need a top 3 and a bunch of kills, and they've given us exactly that. It's the best possible shot.
Best possible shot, and you know, it's unbelievable they actually managed to do it though. 11 games and they did absolutely nothing. But now they show up in their 12th game, final map, and they show up 2nd place, 13 kills. An exceptional performance from them. Where were they? You said it. Where were they all tournament? That could have been a Cinderella story if they came out, but unfortunately for them, they left it a little too late, maybe. We'll have to see how it pans out.
That's it. I mean, having a quick look at the groups, or the teams in groups B and C, Ints, Hard Drop, some of these guys have had really rough tournaments so far as well.
27 points.
Yeah, 27 points is really big. They actually equaled the chicken dinner. They got that many kills.
They definitely did. They did such a great job, and we see a lot of teams here that weren't expected to get into the top 8, but they have found themselves there. WarMasters, they're Crazy, Rush to Die, Cream, Critical. Those teams desperately needed points to stay safe. Brazilian Killers as well knocked up the 100 on the kill tally, so that's fantastic from them. I like to see a high killing team.
Oh, they're going to be 98 points of placement.
They are, yep. They're going to be too short, so they will be sitting at 199
Wait, they'll be at 199? Oh,
they'll sit at 199 points. So
you hate to see that.
You do hate to see that. They'll probably be a bit salty about that one, but that's okay. They've got another 24 games to play.
Exactly
they can break the 200 mark in those 24.
Yeah, that
might be a bit more difficult.
12, but yeah. And then, actually, I mean, all the teams who really needed points are in the top 8, essentially. Team Solo Safe, they're fine. Influence, Rage, ROCKETeSport probably could have used some more points, but they had some decent games earlier. They should be okay. Oh, yeah, INSANOS. I mean, they did have a really good game last game and got themselves out of that bottom 8. And because the only team who's actually going to be moving in that bottom 8 right now is Drunks Marines, I don't think they'll slip back into the bottom 8 just yet, but I'm not actually sure. I mean, we'll have to have a look here. Yeah, 199 total points for Brazilian Killers. That said, they finish a clear 50 points ahead of current 2nd place. And, I mean, XG still have 4 games to play, and they're at 137. So, if they can have themselves a good 4 games, they can certainly shoot up there as well.
At half the kill points, though, of
Isn't that ridiculous?
Killers. That is absolutely ridiculous. Crazy to think that Brazilian Killers aren't even the leaders on placements points, and yet they have 199 total points. 6-9, despite having a poor day, still lead the placement points, but you wouldn't think that's for long.
No, XG are right behind them. I was going to say Team Queso, but they're finished now. So it's XG on 87. They're only 12 placement points off pace, and they've got 4 games to play.
That was the only chicken dinner for Team Queso, so they've still managed to have a very reasonable performance in this stage, the first stage of groups for the day.
They started off in 7th, and they've moved themselves up to 3rd and got a chicken dinner. So
it's a good job from them, boys.
Pretty happy with how that's gone so far. Here is where things start to get interesting. Crazy have pushed themselves all the way up to 16th place. They'll be happy with that. WarMaster in 13th. That's guaranteed. Them, That's guaranteed safe.
Yeah, you'd think that would be guaranteed safety at this point. Influence Rage also had a
actually, I think mathematically, I think that has to be because there's 16 teams in the next group and they can't all win.
No, that's true. As PDZ, they've found themselves up into what you'd think would be the safe zone. Lots of teams up and down today. The big winners are Team Solo Safe, though. They claim 2 chicken dinners. Cream Esports up. Drunken Marines, they've found themselves 1 clear. It's tight, but it's doable.
It's doable. I mean, we'll have to see just how low the points are on everyone who hasn't played yet. I mean, having a quick look at our standings at the start of the day, they were all, 37 was the highest. They're all in the 20s. So they've given themselves between 30 and 40 points of clearance below the teams in the bottom 8. So, or above, I should say. So that's maybe enough to clutch it out.
Evo could push them down to 24.
And INSANOS are both out at this point. There's no way that they can move up any further. Unfortunately, they had a decent final run today. That last game was just not enough for them. And I mean, actually, that is pretty close. The teams who are currently in the top of the bottom 8 are sitting in 50. So Drunks Marines, I'm not sure they're safe, but they've at least had a big game and avoided guaranteed eliminations. With that last game as well, Brazilian Killers secure 1, 2, and 3. 3 out of 4 players, 101 kills over 12 games. That's an incredibly big effort from them.
That is dominance at its finest. Ayla, with a big last game, manages to push themselves up into the 5th spot, which is nice to see, because at day 1 they were probably 2nd or 3rd. They had like 8 or 9 kills from the first day, so seeing them back in the top of the leaderboard for the kills, 5th place, so that's nice for them. Hopefully Team Queso are pleased with their performance today, claiming their first chicken dinner. I'm happy for that, because they did play so well at the Spring Split Finals. Yeah,
they did indeed. But look, we've confirmed two of our 8 teams who are going home, which is the 2 teams who are currently in the bottom 8 with 12 games played. No more points for them to be gained. We still need to know 6 more though, and to find that out, well, we're not going to be doing it today. We do have one more day of group stages here for the South American region. It'll be Group B and C, but that is still to come. We will see you tomorrow for that. Thanks for joining today. We'll catch you then to find out who goes through and who goes home here at PMCO 2019.